everybody, and welcome back to Westeros. It is a Sea of Spears Sunday, and that means you are back here with us, going to the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, following along on the zany misadventures of the young scions of House Nymaryen. What are those little rascals up to right now? Well, let's check in and find out. In fact, let's go to Ash, who was kind of on the spotlight towards the end of last episode. Ash, who is the character, and what were you doing right before we rolled credits, and then who's going to introduce themselves next?
Okay. I'm Ash. I play Adam Nymaryen, and at the end of last session, Adam had just killed Cletus Ironwood.
High five.
As, yeah. He didn't know that's who it was at the time, but he did kind of like have a high-speed horse chase where he was panicking big time. But yeah, like he shot him full of arrows and he's dead. And yeah, we took that helmet off and we're like, it's an Ironwood, damn. So yeah, so that's where Adam's at right now. I'm like, shit, I killed someone important. Normally it's just bandits, but yeah, so big implications. And I think I will then like kick it up to my big brother Lucaris.
Hi, I'm Robert. I play Lucaris. I'm highly disappointed we did not have a Scooby-Doo reference there.
Right. It was the Ironwoods all along.
Oh man, Ironwood. Also called it.
I mean,
I mean, it was a speculation.
we need to get good
Yeah,
stuff.
but I'm counting the hits and I'm ignoring the misses, so I gotta roll. I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
Just one day I'll predict things before it fucks us over. Yeah, like before it happens. As I play Lucaris, who like I said, I might get a detective's hat at some point. I don't know. Yeah, we just got done killing a few of these bandits and chasing down their leader, who is surprise, is the scion of one of our enemies. Luke is catching up, checking on things, bringing the wagons around as we left off, and he'll probably also be checking up on Elia and anybody else who was injured. There were a few battle injuries.
And who's up next?
Let's just go up the chain. Let's go up to my second oldest sister.
Well, I mean, technically we're the same age, right? We're twins, so like,
But I'm older.
Let's start with the gold dragon, she slipping said.
it doesn't matter. Like, we're same age. It's the same. So I am Bela Nymaryen, and my in real life name is Erica. But yes, I am just briefly younger than my sister, who was born just mere moments prior to me. So I mean, that's the same age practically. Like, when you ask someone how old they are, they don't say like they don't give it to you down to the second, right? It's like, I'm X number of years, so like we're the same. When they ask you your birthday, it's like the same day, right? So like we're the same age. So yeah, so the thing where we found out that Cletus Ironwood was, helping out the Bandit King, he was transporting some armor to be used by the Bandit King's army, and we didn't know he was going to be there. We just knew there was going to be this armor shipment, so we went out and claimed it as our own. But then, I guess we got some really interesting news. I did get a little bit injured along the way. I took 2 injuries in the game mechanics, so I'm pretty like cut up bad. It's not a wound, so like I don't have any huge problems, but I definitely need to get treated before the battle tomorrow. And so I guess coming back into camp, we'll have a few big things to deal with this evening. And finally, I'll hand it over to my same exact age as me sister, except for like the microscopic details that no one really cares about in this setting.
setting. I'm Felicia. I play Lady Reyna Nymaryen, heir to the House Nymaryen. And we we killed the fucking Ironwood. And I have to say that most of us, I mean, I think I ended the last game just saying "oh shit" over and over again. Oh shit. But and then I did that for a while. But it has many repercussions that we will be discussing today. Um, my notes right now because I don't remember how badly I got hurt last time. I know I took some damage because I marked that right there. But I think I might be okay as far as like injuries go. I kept
Yeah.
myself most. I mean, I did jump off my horse onto a rolling wagon like everybody else did this time. We all were like, "Oh, you're gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna do that."
So yes,
And,
it was definitely our most kind of cinematic adventure movieist episode yet, with people hopping willy-nilly from horseback onto speeding wagons and hijacking those wagons. I think everybody made it out without any wounds, though, except for Robert, because Lucaris went into it with a wound. But like everybody, I think that
Elia,
everyone got
I
some
believe.
wounds. No,
yeah, Elliot got the most messed up.
yeah, I'm talking PCs here.
Okay.
I don't think any of you ended up taking wounds from it, just injuries. So those should be healed up in time for tomorrow.
Another really important detail is that now 2 of the 4 Nymaryen siblings have killed an Ironwood. It's becoming a rite of passage, and we are running out of Ironwoods.
Well, this is
Yeah,
a
but-
scare.
Well, there's 3 of them left now. There's the Lord himself and his 2 daughters. That's all they've got left now. We've killed both his sons.
Yep. Well,
Girl?
his son and his nephew, but yeah.
All right, okay. I thought they were both his sons. Okay.
Yeah, so you guys are just gonna have to draw straws, I guess. See which one of you has to be either the killer of someone's mom or, you know, this young girl. But that's tomorrow's problem. Today's problem is the Ironwood that you just killed. So, House Ironwood, of course, is actually the most powerful house in Dorne. Their personal army is like greater than that of House Nymaros Martell, your patrons and lords of Dorne. But they've always been just barely held in check, second string, much like the Boltons in the north or the Freys in the Riverlands. That's House Ironwood. They're the rivals for rulership of Dorne, and they've been on the ascent until the last several weeks, because they were doing pretty well after Robert's rebellion. They backed Robert. They defied House Martell, and they were backing Robert during the rebellion instead of staying loyal to House Targaryen. So they were rewarded with some extra land, etc., including, of course, your own banner house, House Dayne. But yeah, House Ironwood is the Blood Royal. They are the Wardens of the Stone Way. They are this really big, wealthy, fantastically powerful, influential house that apparently is supplying at least armor to the Vulture King, Jonathor Sand, who is assembling, or has assembled, this army of deserters and miscreants and bandits and brigands and broken men. And now you've got the body of Cletus Ironwood, his only son and heir, lying in a ditch with his back full of Nymaryen arrows. And we basically cut right then with your cousin, Obara Sand, standing over him in the ditch and flinging the body over. And we can just start the episode right back there if you guys want. So we will, that will be our previously on, and then we roll credits, and then bam! let's go to action right now, as you guys all respond to finding the at least half murdered body of Cletus Ironwood.
Jeez.
Hey, I'm owning that shit. That's a full murder right there.
It's not a murder. It was battle.
Yeah, that's true. Like rules of engagement and all that. Mind you, he was running away.
You're just people. Watch what you say.
I'm not saying any of this out loud.
Siblings, this is pretty serious, though.
As Luke rides up with the wagon, he's gonna yell, "Seven hells, is that who I think it is?"
Cover him up. Now. Like, how do you get down there? How deep is this? I don't remember.
It's a couple feet deep. You know, it's
It
looks
was
like
enough that-
someplace that, yeah.
Yeah, it was enough. Well, it was enough that like my horse could jump over it. So
Yeah, I mean it's like waist high on Obara, and she's got, you know, this guy's wearing those kind of raggedy brown cloaks that most of these bandits were wearing, and she just gives a shrug and like flips it up and over his head, and then she's like, "Who's the pretty boy?"
That's
Ground.
Ain't nobody here but Nymaryens and sand snakes.
Okay. That right there is the heir to House Ironwood.
Huh. She says while tossing him over her shoulder to heave up and out of this kind of gully, and doesn't seem to comment much more than that. And she's
She's thinking. She's quiet.
Elia returns with perhaps the finest sandsteed in House Ironwood stables. She comes, you know, bringing it the rest of the way back. She got a hold of it by the reins and has it, you know, tugged along. And her eyes are as wide as you've ever seen them. And you're pretty sure that she, you know, heard the last bit or may have recognized him. He's closer in age to her than to Obara. And she's just got wide eyes. And it looks like maybe she hasn't noticed that her left arm is pretty clearly broken from a sword swing. It's a pretty good cut, and also like the wrist is at a weird angle. But she's just looking like wide-eyed around the lot of you. So you're just pretty sure that she has heard who she just aided in the killing of. We'll say killing instead of murder.
yeah, 'cause
Yes.
she basically kind of rammed him into the path of my arrow. So yeah, she, like
Mm-hmm.
tag team.
I'll adjourn you.
All right. Let's get him wrapped up in the wagon.
Yeah, he's in it. I'm gonna help cover him up. We'll kind of leave his body as respectful as a corpse can be in the back of a wagon full of armor.
Ellie, are you okay?
I got his horse. I cut it a little bit to spook it,
No. Your,
but I think it's okay.
your arm.
Yeah.
Huh?
Your armor.
Oh,
And she starts to swoon and tumble from the saddle.
Oh no!
Can I rush over and keep her from falling?
Sounds like Lucaris was already pretty busy. So we've got Bela and Reyna that were over there talking to her.
I'll,
I-
I'll try to assist her in some way.
All right. You are able to kind of shore her up
Okay.
over there close. But yeah, it looks like she just fainted when she looked down at the wound. It's a savage slash across her forearm. You believe she probably brought it up to defend against that like backswing sword slash as she was keeping up to Cletus. So yeah, it's pretty bad. And it was clearly worse than she has suffered before.
It shocked her into swooning, which
Swoon.
she's never living down. Okay. Did we bring any like squire types or
There's some gorillas
like,
out there.
So
way back.
You got me.
Yeah, you guys had a
I'm
couple
technically
dozen.
still your squire.
Yeah, you guys had a couple dozen archers and scouts with you, but you do have Squire Adam, who is currently squiring for his siblings.
Once
Adam,
Cletus's corpse is secured, I'll look up and ask if they need any help getting her on one of the other wagons.
yes, and we'll need her arm wrapped. And we need to get her back to the Maester Ferris. Pretty much
Yes.
now, I think. We need to stop the bleeding.
I'm no good at wrapping wounds.
Obara is she breaks a couple of the arrows off the back of Cletus when she just like heaved him up and out of the ditch, and she just picks up a couple of those broken arrows and cuts a swath off of her sister's cloak, not Obara's own fine sand silk cloak, but off of Elia's one, and she just starts like kind of half splinting, half bandaging it. Looking pretty calm. You suspect that she's done this sort of thing before. She might not be good at it, but she's at least like doing it and not seeming to complain, and certainly not to swoon. You remember she's got about 10 years on you lot, and who knows what kind of trouble she's seen in that time, but looks like Obara's gonna be able to at least keep her stable for the trip back.
Well,
Oh, make sure the horse is tied down to one of the wagons.
yes. We have all. Did we get all the wagons? I'm like surveying now that we have a moment. We have all the wagons. We have only corpses of the other guys.
You guys did capture one. One did surrender, and he is just kind of standing in the back of his wagon, still just kind of looking nervous, holding his arms up, and like you can tell that they're getting heavy, because he's under the Dornish sun and like wearing chainmail, and it's hard to like hold your arms up forever, but he is looking warily around each of you, especially as a fairly young girl is being bandaged up, and he's like, oh shit, they gonna kill me for this? Like he's got a very heckin' concerned look on his face, let's say.
All of us turning and looking at him.
Let's get the information from him we can, if any. How do you guys want to approach this? He already looks pretty scared.
Take him back. You sit.
Yes, my lady?
Should we question him now? See what he knows, if anything?
No, we'll question him back at Manwoody's. Or
All right.
what do we call it?
I suggest we gag him.
Of course. Okay, go ahead. I'll drive that wagon back.
I will see to the man, make sure he gets some water on him. It's like we're gagging him, but not just to torture him, basically.
Yeah, we definitely want to question him. He may have useful information, like about, about Jonathan and his army.
Or about where this shipment came from.
That too.
He consents to being gagged. He does not resist or go for a knife or try to flee or anything like that. He just kind of looks around at the lot of you with wide eyes while always keeping his hands far away from any weapons or anything like that.
What, we're not binding his hands.
He is, you guys can, I'm just saying he is clearly not fighting. If you do try to bind his hands, if you do gag him, whatever, he is compliant.
We really ought to bind his hands just in case.
Find him, disarm him. It's fine.
Well, yeah, how many weapons he has left?
Is he wearing? He's wearing chainmail. You said. Is he wearing anything to identify a house?
Nope. You do notice or remember that all of this lot of bandits had on basically the same, like, purpose-built drab brown cloak type of vibe that you got. So it looks like they were, cloaked and hooded the same way Marvel Cinematic Universe characters put on a ball cap and some sunglasses, right? Like that's what passes for a disguise every time. So like they were wearing, these kind of lightweight hooded cloaks, and they're not wearing house colors. There's no tabards or anything like that. But yeah, that's what you got.
Okay.
All right then. We'll return to Manwoody's keep. I guess. I can't remember the name of it.
King's Grave.
Manwoody's place.
Yes,
King's
Kingsgrave.
Alicia, you're a little quiet to me. Is it same to everybody else?
Yeah.
It's probably just me. Sorry.
I got you up as loud as I can, so.
All right, you lot are able to make your way back to Kingsgrave. A couple of your archers and scouts assist in keeping extra eyes on the prisoner. The ride back is largely uneventful. We're going to say largely.
The body of Ironwood is covered.
Yeah, he was under like all the stuff was covered in tarps. You were able to just shove him under there. So, largely uneventful, but not entirely, because there is no avoiding, as you're getting back close to dusk, the string of cook fires in the distance. You see the few torches and lanterns and stuff of Graveston, which is kind of the peasant village outside Kingsgrave that keeps Kingsgrave going. But unlike most, it's not built up all around Kingsgrave. It's specifically like to the north of Kingsgrave, maybe a quarter mile or something like that, but it's where like the granaries are and this, that, and the other. And you see those lights, which you've grown accustomed to seeing in the north, but then past those, you see the cooking fires and the other campfires of a pretty impressively large army. And there's no ignoring or avoiding the fact that it looks like there's 1,000 men and women gathered just on the other edge of that field that are here to kill you. And that's got a bit of a weight to it as you're making your way through your own camp towards the gates of Kingsgrave, and your troops, you notice, are more somber than in prior nights. Nobody's complaining about how tired they are from digging ditches. Nobody's complaining about oiling their mail or straightening their arrow shafts or adjusting their fletchings. Everybody that's talking to a horse and preparing it is doing so in like soothing tones of reassuring themselves as much as their horse. And there's just a kind of somber tension to the camp tonight. But even among that, with it being quieter as you guys are returning than it's been in prior days, with less frenetic activity, and with a lot of these guys settling around their cook fires to eat, you still can't help but notice this kind of bubble of attention as you come riding through, and your scouts and your archers peel off and go to their own little campsites, and it's you lot on your fine horses guiding a couple of wagons, and like everybody stops. Like you just notice it as you're making your way through that all these troops, whether they're wearing the purple bolt of House Dondarrion of the Stormlands, or the sword and star of House Dayne, or of course the dragon of House Nymaryen, everyone that sees you lot sees you coming back again, fairly hale and hearty, apparently having succeeded in something, because you're guiding 3 wagons full of stuff, and there's this just kind of hush around the camp as you make your way through it, and you see a couple people still doing like these like little good luck blessings towards you, or in the wake of you, like they're thanking the 7 when you make your way back, that sort of thing.
As this is going on, Luke's gonna hop off his horse, go to one of the wagons that doesn't have a ironwood corpse on it, peel back some of the tarp, and just kind of loudly say to the people who have gathered around, "Exceptional armor, taken from the vile Vulture King and given to our forces for tomorrow."
You actually don't get cheers. Instead, like, everybody gets quiet to listen to the young scions of House Nymaryen speak. It's a sort of odd hush, like you hear in a sept. So there's no rousing cheer or anything like that. They're all just quiet and almost reverently so, looking at the rest of the siblings. Like, oh, should we be listening? Is there a sermon gonna start? Is she gonna look right at me? Is the young archer gonna talk right my way? Like, you could just see that everyone's gotten quiet instead of a rousing campfire cheer type of thing. They're all just kind of hushed and looking expectantly at the lot of you. Anyone else want to go for anything?
Well, unfortunately, Adam's still in a bit of a daze, so is not really going to be saying anything.
I'll prance my horse a little bit, my little sand steed, and look across them, and say, "We have defeated yet another arm of the Vulture King's army today. The spoils of that victory will protect you, the heart of our army, as we take the field tomorrow. Lady Bela will lead all of us into battle, and we will emerge victorious."
Or else.
Let's go ahead and give me a persuasion roll.
Okay. I had some dice for that, but I wasn't ready.
Right, but while you are gathering those dice, I'm going to say if Bela cuts in quickly, she could attempt like an assist on this persuasion roll because Bela got kind of called out by it.
Yeah.
And I know, at least in the chat, Erica had already decided who was getting the armor, but you could maybe piggyback on that statement, or something cool and generally like that, and that would give the Nymaryen twins an assist on a persuade check to kind of try to improve morale.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll quickly trot on up next to Reyna and say, "All of you are very fine soldiers. Indeed, this armor will protect our cavalry and our infantry in the battle tomorrow. This will be spread around amongst the houses for our battle."
You see a couple kind of, I don't want to say mutters, because mutters tend to sound negative. Murmurs? Let's say murmurs of approval, and a couple nods and that sort of thing. And Felicia, sling them dice.
Alright, just base persuasion. I have bonus dice in charm and convince, but not insight.
I feel like this would be a little bit more of an insight with this big a crowd. And then you get to add half of Bela's persuasion,
I have
which
4.
is... Alright, so you get a +2.
So, wait, 3, my bad. 3 persuasion.
1.
It's supposed to be 1. Let's still make it a 2. We'll say you get an extra +1 for the wagons. Yeah.
I thought we get an extra +1 because we're twins.
Wonder Twin power is activated.
Activate. That is actually pretty good. 17?
Okay. 1 second as I make a note.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Right, it's, you know,
How's
you
it
get
been?
rocking that dragon's blood.
Oh, blood of Valyria and Authority.
One of this here, Valeria is a +2 straight up. So
So that'll make it a 19.
And then I don't remember what authority does. I just kind of play like I have it. And
I think that's the one that helps if you don't like people. Like it offsets the penalty
Just give
for
us a
that.
second. I'm just looking it up right now. Okay, find it.
Yeah,
Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, during an intrigue, reduce your persuasion penalty, if any, by 2. Thus, when your disposition is disliked, you take no penalty. When unfriendly is at -2
Right.
and this -4. So yeah, makes you better at bossing around people who you don't like.
So the good news is the common man that you so detest, you don't have a big penalty on your persuade roll to try and inspire them, despite their low birth and muddy blood. But yeah, you feel like it was a pretty good speech. You both do. You've, you know, kind of tried to rouse the troops before in your skirmishes against bandits, which have been a dozen or 24 on a side. And you kind of know what you're doing. You know, you've got that House Nymaryen blood that's pretty good at this sort of thing. But it's a little bit weird because, again, you don't get a cheer. You don't get rousing roars from throughout the camp and fists in the air and people stomping their feet and clapping their weapons against stuff.
For tomorrow.
You just get these
Yeah.
kind of somber nods, and a few of the nearest men just kind of bow their heads a little bit in a sign of respect that's maybe almost reverence. You see a handful of the Nymaryen troops, and you're actually, by the way, something else that you've noticed making your way through the camp tonight, the troops aren't all separated by sigil and tabard. Like, they've been camping together for most of a week now, and you notice, even in the small groups of them that kind of gathered around you, they're a mix. So it's a Damascus steel blend of Dornish and Stormlander together. But you can make out the silver dragon and the golden crown on a red field of some Nymaryen troops as you start to see their tabards disappear because they're taking a knee.
yeah, Luke is gonna kneel down, facing the girls as well, and say, "Warrior, be with us."
You guys see a handful of other troops doing the same, and then you see more of them doing so as you continue to make your way through to the gates of Kingsgrave. Your pathway, which is kind of an impromptu path, is because you haven't tried to go through it with big-ass wagons before. But that pathway is kind of lined by Dornishmen and Stormlanders who are kneeling to the lot of you as you pass. So that feels pretty good. Everybody that has an injury, remove an injury. If you have multiple injuries, we're still going to heal that up.
Okay.
But yeah, the blood of the dragon likes this. And you all are of Targaryen stock. And that feels right. So, marching the spoils of war and the body of a slain opponent through a field of kneeling men, you are emboldened and just don't feel quite as battered and bruised and beat up. And then waiting for you in Kingsgrave by the time you get there is basically all of your NPCs standing there alongside, of course, the Lord of the House and Maester Ferris. But Lord Dagos and his brother are there. Yes, Maester Ferris is staying pretty close to him by default. Sir Balin Swann and Sir Garrus Drinkwater, unlikely Dornish and Stormlander allies. Lord Beric Dondarrion and his squire, Lord Edric Dayne. Sir Oris Waters, standing near Lady Alysain Mormont, as an interesting contrast in height, but almost not bulk, because remember, she's kind of a dwarf build, and she looks it next to him. And then the lithe and dangerous Oberyn Martell next to the little bit more lithe and probably as close to dangerous Damon Sand, his squire. And then at the end of that row is Sir Miles Manwoody, who is purposefully kind of trying to distance himself from Maester Ferris, you think? He's way on the other end of this line of NPCs, trying to show that he's able to stand on his own 2 feet, etc., etc.
I have a quick question before the scene begins.
Okay.
Would we have had time to take Elliot to the Maester's tent first, or would she still be with us?
The Maester is right there.
Okay.
So yeah, like that's it. So she is riding in with you guys. She's on like the passengers, riding shotgun on one of the wagons. She is, and she mustered her wits back just a few minutes afterwards, and she's got her spear at the ready. Like she's riding shotgun, looking kind of grim and stuff. But yeah, like she's conscious and everything. So yeah, she didn't bleed out on the way. I'm not gonna. Well, nobody said they were checking to see if Elliot died. Right? Yeah. So no, she's.
Well, no, I guess mean more before we bring her injured body to her father. But yes, the base here, and this is where we would go.
So yeah, you guys have your full array of NPCs, all looking different shades of pleased with you as you arrive, and these wagons kind of fill the courtyard of this castle. It's already been kind of crowded, but like nobody complains about you parking them here for now, because you're kind of supposed to show off when you come back home with the spoils of war like this. And you notice all those NPCs looking rather expectantly at the sisters.
Okay, I will speak up first then, and I'll say, some of us received some injuries in today's conquest of the armor, and we will go get treatment. After that, and I look at Lord Manwoody. We need to have a small war council before a larger strategy council tonight. And I would, Lord Manwoody, and Uncle Oberyn, Beric Dondarrion, Balin Swann, meet in the Solar in half an hour.
You get a series of nods of assent, and yeah, Lord Dagos gives you a nod and then gestures and sends Maester Ferris scurrying over, who's looking excited to see what new injuries he can learn how to treat today. And he pretty expertly.
A weird thing to have, but probably useful.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, I mean, Adam did take an arrow that was an injury, so yeah, he'll be making full use of that.
So yeah, he hurries over in his amiable way that does seem like genuine concern, but it's also you definitely feel it's an excitement to be able to help, right? Like, so it's not just like it's not a Maester Qyburn morbid curiosity, I can't wait to flens you type of vibe. It's a hey, I know how to do this, I can help, right? So yeah, he is able to help anybody that needs help. Elia threatens him with her spear and insists on climbing down out of the wagon by herself, using the spear as kind of a walking stick to balance herself as she climbs down.
It's a huge laugh from Luke. This is very funny to him.
But yeah, she refuses any assistance in getting out of the wagon at anyone that offers it to her. And
It's very why he did not offer this.
and remember, she is the yes, she's like a middle bastard, but she is still a daughter of a prince. And you guys are in a small castle courtyard full of very gallant gentlemen, not all of whom are married or engaged. So it looks like waving the spear at Maester Ferris got the message across to the rest of the would-be gallants that would offer her assistance. But eventually, everyone is
I
able to
take
go
it back.
get seen.
She threatens everyone. I want Lucas to very, very loudly and clearly go, "May I assist you, Lady Lance, or do you have it under control?"
She spits in your direction, and then starts to hobble up the steps.
It's a huge smile.
Luke, Luke, would you be able to discreetly get the body to the solar?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
You see a couple eyebrows lift at that, and Lord Dagos, who has not wheeled himself away yet, most everybody else is kind of scattered to scatter. He goes, "Did someone fall in battle?"
Not on our side,
No.
my lord.
Good, good. Yes, bring whatever needs to be brought to the Solar. I could send some men to assist you, or perhaps the Aurochs here could carry the wagon. And you see that Oris is still hanging out talking to Alisane.
Luke smiles, but then does nod and accept the help of Oris if you trust him. He can come and assist me. Other than that, I think we should keep this quiet.
Shall
Luke kind of nods to Oberon, just because he's his uncle, and then begins moving the wagon out of the towards the Solar.
When you look for Prince Oberon to nod to, you notice that he is at Elia's side.
Good.
Either he made the stealth rolls, or he made the intimidation rolls to get within range of the spear, so that she could not attack of opportunity him. He is hovering very near her, but has not laid a hand on her to help. But he's there. So,
Daughter.
I'm going to head to the Maester's tent at that point then.
Yeah.
I mean, before we kind of do it, Adam would ask Bella, sister, should we have the prisoner taken to?
Oh, yeah, thank you for reminding me. Yes, please see the prisoner taken care of, and yeah.
Sir Miles Manwoody, Lord Dagos' brother, and the one that's kind of he's the master at arms of this keep and tends to do the martial stuff here at Kingsgrave. He sees to it personally. And Lady Alisane glowers alongside, and you don't think anyone's going to get away from the two of them. So
Yeah.
the prisoner is taken off to be properly, locked up, etc., etc.
Adam would say, make sure he's not harmed, but that he's kept alone.
We've only got a few troublemakers locked up now, and we were planning to let them out tonight regardless. He'll be alone as alone can be down there, sir. My lord.
Very well.
Looks like you got mistaken for a knight momentarily by an actual knight. But so let's move on to some maester rolls. For those of you that are still dealing with injuries, you will need 6 dice, keep 4, as Maester Ferris makes with the diagnosis.
Rusty, how do you want to deal with the wound I have? You said I'd get some sort of chance before the end?
Yep. Let's go ahead and do that right now also. So yeah, get out the roll 6, keep 4.
Rusty, do you want me to roll for the one injury that I took as well?
If you only took 1, you're healed from the show of obeisance from the troops outside. If you had 2, you've still got 1. So
Sure.
I think Bela is still nursing 1, right?
I have 1 wound. Or sorry, 1 injury.
I've got an
Okay. That's fine. I guess Adam just kind of scenically needs an arrow dug out of him.
Yeah, he's fine. It's all right.
It's fine.
So what kind of totals are we looking at?
17.
Nice.
And Luke?
Luke is an 18.
Wait, did you say keep 6 or keep 4 or keep 3?
it's roll 6, keep 4.
Oh.
He's got
22 in
four.
that case.
Alrighty. So, cause of injury is readily apparent. Check. So, every degree of success is +1 die on the healing test. So yeah, let's say, Bela, you are going to roll 7, keep 7. And Luke, what was your injury from a couple days ago?
It was beating my
or your
unarmored
wound,
ass
yeah.
kick by the merwoman and her men.
Yeah.
Merwoman.
Yeah, just
Basically,
also roll 7, keep 7.
27.
Oh, sorry, Bela's still gonna nurse that in. Yeah, you're fine.
God, shitty roll for 7. 2 1 but let's see.
Yeah, the diagnosis rules are one of my favorite things in this game, just to try and make that healing thing good, because you just straight up get extra dice for every degree of success on a successful diagnosis.
Wow.
Like, it's not bonus dice on the treatment, it's just fucking extra dice.
Yeah, they're nice. I've got a total of oh, I just had it. 23.
Alright, give me 1 second. So yes, that is good. For a wound, if during your time of healing, you have been doing things like fighting or riding, it is difficulty 21. And you've been doing just a smidgen of that.
You know, I bad talked those 2 1s, but that's what put me over it.
So, yeah, and then Bela just had a 12 to beat. So you are both fine. Those wounds are gone. Those injuries are gone. House Nymaryen is still visibly cut up and battered and bruised from the week that you've had of this non-stop combat and stress and work and preparation. But you are wearing it well. So everyone's a little scraped up from the special effects and makeup department, but no one's going to be sucking up any penalties tomorrow.
It's good.
Or tonight, if you guys end up having to roll dice during this war council and stuff. So, let's go to said war council. Everyone's able to get healed up that needs it. Everyone's able to just change into fresh clothes if they want to, which I say because of the 2 that didn't need to go get healed up, they're probably the most likely to want to go change into fresh clothes. But yeah, everyone's able to prep for the meeting. And just for my own edification, I want to double check who's invited. We have Oberyn Martell.
Mm-hmm. Lord Dagos.
Because it's his house.
Yes.
Beric Dondarrion.
Right. And Balin Swann.
Yeah, he gets invited to the war council's house. He also gets to choose one of the toppings of the pizza. So that's just.
It's very important. Yeah. You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen for that, because then you end up with 17 toppings, and
Lots of mushrooms.
you can't find common agreement amongst that many people.
Is Oris asked to stay after carrying the body? He will turn to leave if not, because solars are for smart people.
Yeah, unless Luke is given other instructions, he will ask him to stay.
I didn't give any other instructions.
Alright, so Oris will be milling around very carefully, like not touching anything, because this solar is smaller than Grandpa Makar's. And Oris is like, I don't want to mess with these maps. I couldn't be here.
He takes up a lot of space.
So, but he looms
understand.
in a corner. But you do notice when you guys arrive, Lord Edric is pouring drinks for everyone, and you can see that Lord Beric quirks an eyebrow at Reyna instead of Bela, because it's Lord Beric. He's going, that's the tiebreaker there. But he gives a little nod towards Edric, who can't see it, and then lifts an eyebrow to Reyna. Should he stay or not? Seems to be the question. Not, hey, what if we hide behind this desk real quick? You pretty sure this is a business, not a pleasure call.
And shoes sticking out.
I'm like, so is Edric a lord? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edric is the Lord of Starfall.
right? He's a lord. I mean, no, he's not a sir. He's a lord.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just be, Lord Edric, could you pour one for me, please, and then have a seat?
Oh, of course, my lady. And he finishes pouring everybody some drinks. They have both chilled wine and mulled wine available, depending on preference and taste for the moment. And then, by the time everyone is served, everyone's looking rather expectantly between either Bela or Lord Dagos. Lord Dagos is one of them looking expectantly towards Bela.
Okay.
Kind of by default, everyone's kind of deferring to the Lord whose office this is, but he's like, I don't know why we're here. Like, so he's clearly waiting for Bela to take point.
Okay. As you all know, we were successful in retrieving the shipment of armor. What we did not know at the time was that there was someone leading that shipment to the Vulture King. The idea. Yeah.
Cletus's corpse, by the way, is in one of the chairs. Like, Oris didn't know who he was carrying or why, so he's like, probably best not to like just dump him on the floor. So yeah, he's in a chair
He's all like wrapped up.
over in the corner. He's got his cloak like flipped up and over forward, like by way of a burial shroud.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like propped up in a chair.
Well, this is gonna be awfully dramatic.
The reason I left Oris here was I want him to see what he did.
This is gonna be very dramatic then.
Oh, bless his heart. He tried his best.
And the reason we're having this small council is because the identity of this person, well, see for yourselves. And then I whiffed the cloak from the face.
All right. You earn, we're going to go around the room. Prince Oberyn Martell raises a curious eyebrow, which you know is his terribly surprised face. Like, that means he's actually like, wow, I was not expecting that. But like a cat, unless it's, something really, really close and personal, he stays rather aloof and looks like he knew that all along, right? But you guys know, as his nieces and nephews, that's him going, oh, like, oh, shit, like, wow. Oris, absolutely no response. He does not seem to have been paying much attention during your clashes with House Ironwood in the Red
Really
Keep.
not. He was in the trial by 7.
Right, but
on
Cletus wasn't. Cletus, you guys really only saw in the Red Keep when Oris had so many other things to pay attention to, like his food.
Yeah.
So Oris is just no response there. Probably not a big surprise that Oris isn't like, by the 7, that's clearly Cletus Ironwood, right? Yeah. So there's none of that. Beric Dondarrion actually spits a mouthful of wine back into his goblet. He had toasted when you mentioned your success with the armor and was mid-sip, and he goes, and he and young Edric Dayne exchange incredulous looks. They clearly both recognize this formerly handsome young man. Sir Balin Swann just lets out something he should not let out in mixed company like this. Something, fuck the mother, something. So a terribly profane curse.
Quietly.
You kiss my sister with that mouth?
Yeah, he doesn't.
And Lord Nagos actually drops his he doesn't actually use a signet ring. He's got like one of the stamps with the signet thing on the end of it, and he's been kind of idly tinkering with that in most of these meetings, because remember, his legs are still pretty shot, so he looks like he's kind of fidgety with it. and that just clatters on the desk as he lets out a 7 hells under his breath.
So we also were quite surprised. But this does. It does.
It explains where
complicate-
he's getting his arms and armor from. I thought you
It
would
does.
talk.
And
That's
it's
fine.
and it throws up some questions about the Ironwood contingent currently in this keep.
Yes. So from my standpoint, here's how I view this. News of this can't be let out tonight or tomorrow for the risk of the Ironwood contingent doing something in response to it, leaving or sabotaging or something. I don't believe those that are here to sabotage us. I believe that House Ironwood was trying to fulfill their obligation when called upon to assist in this army. But you'll notice how few troops they sent in comparison to the size of their forces that are known to exist. Their level of commitment here was the token minimum. So these troops are here, I believe, in good faith, while the main efforts of their house went to attempting to embarrass the rest of us.
Bailey may add something as well.
Please.
Did you see how the men were intermixed tonight? They put down their individual banners. They were all drinking and eating and having a solemn time together. If we start yanking the Ironwood men out of that, separating them, we risk losing that camaraderie. Fucking up.
Lord Barrick nods and interjects. I've been speaking with Sir Garrus since his arrival. We've been trying to coordinate our spearmen and swordsmen. He seems a decent sort.
What little I spoken do I
Very
agree.
well may be a decent sort. He could be exactly what he appears to be. A vessel who was sent by his lord to fulfill that lord's obligations to his
Per-
lord.
per-
He has no idea.
Perhaps then it might be more important then to place the Ironwood men among those that we trust the most.
Yeah, I also suspect on the battlefield we should have trusted soldiers at their back. I just feel like anything we do to pull them off the line now is going to be, as Ben suggested, probably more harm than it's worth.
I think that's a good
Also
point.
can't trust them.
Right. Also, think about this. Cletus Ironwood and House Ironwood didn't anticipate him getting captured or killed by us there. It was supposed to be under the table, right? And if we pull the troops out now, there will be. Oh shoot! I just lost my train of thought. There's no deniability now, right? We have proof that they were working with the Vulture King,
Correct.
and
But at least that Cletus was.
yes. I'm sorry, I lost the thought in my head.
Well,
It happens to me all the time.
Playing that, Cletus was so angry at his cousin's death, he decided to aid. That's bullshit, obviously, but either way, how we go forward there, I think is a different issue than what we do immediately.
Sir Balin Swann cuts in with his gruff voice. Says, the only other infantry we've got is mine. Between Lord Beric and I don't know where where my lady plans to put us on the field at dawn, but I'm sure one of us would be overseeing the spearmen. We can keep an eye on Drinkwater's men. And out of character, that is, it's Lord Beric and Sir Balin are the ones that brought you guys your infantry prior to this.
Yeah.
So presumably that's who they'd be, intermingling with. So good news for you out of character is well, the sisters at least partially trust Lord Beric and Sir Balin with something. So, I think they're on pretty good terms there.
Trust them to stand there and let us look at them.
Yeah, we should trust them
Yes,
to do that.
I don't believe we should alter our actions in any way to account for this new information, lest their suspicions arise about this and it impacts the cohesive bonds that the troops have started to form. Like I said, I do not believe that the troops that are here, the small amounts of Ironwood's forces that they sent us, would risk turning against us in the battle. Like, can you imagine if we win the battle while they turned against us during the battle? Like, can you?
Yeah.
From a political standpoint, that just can't happen, right?
There's also too few of them. I think if Lord Ironwood intended to have his men turn against us in the middle of battle, he would have sent more of them.
No, I agree. Better equipped as well, more experienced.
The best chance that 200 men would have to incapacitate 1,000 would be poisoning their food and drink throughout the week. It is a proverbial backstab, not a literal one. None of the men have grown ill yet, but perhaps we would best keep an eye out on the morrow. But it seems unlikely to me. Given the state that the Ironwood men were in, I would be very surprised if they were part of any betrayal. That was Prince Oberyn, in case that wasn't clear. What with the poison and stuff.
Not to have poison in a generic foreign accent.
Luke nods in agreement.
Agree.
I just had a rather nasty thought and a concern pop up. Have we had any scouts ranging east?
Out of character, what is it you are concerned with?
I'm concerned with maybe that larger force of Ironwood people being brought behind us once the battle is engaged.
That would be the south, wouldn't it?
South and southeast. Depends on where the mountain passes are, which none of the maps really kind of show.
Right.
That is the direction that these wagons were coming from. Remember that most travel from House Ironwood in this direction goes by river, which was part of why the archers were important to take out. And that is how Garrus Drinkwater got his troops here, albeit many of them beat up, exhausted, etc., etc. And that pathway that the wagons were coming from is the way trade goods come from House Ironwood. So you suspect if there was an army coming, the army would already be here.
Unless they were specifically not coming until after
I agree.
getting engaged with the Vulture King.
I think they would be ill-advised to choose to attack us while we have a allied army at our back, but it's a possibility.
Also, I would think that given the distance, we would have heard about them approaching by now.
Well, that goes back to her question.
If they were due,
We have the scouts kind of everywhere.
if they were due to be a day behind the the armor wagons, then we would have heard about it the day after we heard about the armor wagons, which we didn't.
Perfect.
So yeah, you've had enough scouts around that you're pretty sure there isn't a secret army arriving. On that
What?
note, however, Lord Dagos throws a communique onto his desk with some
Oh, shit.
exasperation, and he says, "Unfortunately, our riders to the north haven't seen any surprising new armies either. We've received confirmation now that Lord Bryce Caron and Lord Franklin Fowler have met up and reinforced one another, scattering a few hundred bandits that were caught between their armies on that flank, but they will not make it here in time for tomorrow's battle. I've been reassured in turns by both of them that House Caron and House Fowler will see to it none of the Vulture King's men escape once we break their lines. They will find no safety to the north of us. But we will find no assistance from Fowler or from Skyreach or Nightsong.
And so it is.
This is my surprised face.
Well, I suppose at least they are breaking up forces that would otherwise be helping the enemy. That's something.
Also, neither communique mentioned the two of them, killing each other, which there was a very real possibility of,
Right.
given the history between House Caron and House Fowler. It looks like, in the spirit of this southern army, they have at least set that shit aside enough to not be openly hostile, which, again, there was a pretty decent chance of that happening. So they are at least grudgingly and perhaps incompetently working together, but they are working together, and that means, it's better than it could have been. So, but yes, this is confirmation they will not be here in time, but you've at least heard of them, and it hasn't completely fallen apart.
My lords and ladies, there's at least one more issue. That is the bandit survivor we brought back. He may
Right.
very well know the identity of his leader. He may not.
He needs to be questioned.
Mhm.
I'll look around.
Well,
Uh,
I would certainly like to volunteer to assist in that.
Uncle Oberyn gives you a sidelong glance. Are you certain, nephew? It will not be pleasant.
Adam. No.
Why not? We're just asking him questions.
We will ask them impolitely, nephew.
Well, this is why I wanted to volunteer to assist, to be, shall we say, the good gold cloak to someone else's bad gold cloak.
I don't see the harm in letting Adam take a crack at it in the first place. But,
If
well,
you
we-
would like to, nephew. Sorry, what was
Well,
that, Robert?
Just adding, questions can always get more impolite.
They can start polite.
It is always my view that the violence is best kept in reserve until you exhaust peaceful options. We can always resort.
Aw.
We can always resort to violence if he refuses to answer when I ask him.
Prince Oberyn gives a bit of an unconcerned shrug either way, like using his maester's training to poison this guy and stuff is like, maybe, maybe not, I don't really care, whatever works, but seems to be content with letting Adam come if Adam is certain he wants to.
I mean, if it helps at all, but if you do need to ask him politely, I can leave at that point.
We will see what needs to be done, nephew. But perhaps finishing the War Council first, yes?
Yes.
He says while reaching for more wine for himself. Everyone's looking rather expectantly towards Bela again.
Okay.
Yep.
We need to have somewhere to secure Ironwood body for transport once this is all done. He's still highborn and will need to be transported back to his house. But we do not want this information to get out of this room. Lord Dagos, is there somewhere we can store the body securely?
We can toss him into our other cell, I suppose. Perhaps bringing him down there before you question this captured bandit would send some sort of message. But also, it's likely the most secure and secret place we have, with the castle as crowded as it is right now.
Understood. That will work just fine.
Oris is beginning to tentatively reach for the body. You get the feeling he's a little eager to get out of the War Council chamber.
All right, that will be all for now. I will discuss strategy with the rest of us later on.
All right. Everybody finishes their drinks in a moment of kind of camaraderie and finality to that council that deserved a couple drinks because that was some pretty big news to deal with. And everyone makes their way out. Oris goes last so that he doesn't hit anybody with Cletus Ironwood's body. And that's when he kind of waits for the room to empty out before just kind of casually shouldering him and looking to Adam and Prince Oberyn. And I think we're going to follow them down to the cells for now. So the other three of you figure out where you're going to be in a few minutes. And let's go with young Adam the Archer, Prince Oberyn the Red Viper, and Sir Oris the Aurochs, who is carrying a slab of meat over one shoulder. Oris does not seem eager to stay down in the cells. He actually has to stoop just to be down there. That basement prison jail level is low built compared to all the rest. And it also looks like he just doesn't necessarily want to be here for this.
Yeah.
So
Well, as soon as he set the body down, Adam will say that, Oris, you can go now. Thank you.
All right, good, thanks. And off he goes, just not liking it down there. And then you are alone with the Red Viper and a prisoner. The guy's wrists are manacled, and they're looped to the wall. So he's not held up by the chains. He's sitting on the floor with his wrists kind of manacled overhead, but it's a good 6 or 7 foot loop of chain. He's not spread eagled on the wall or anything, but he clambers to his feet when people arrive, and is just looking uncertainly at the two of you, because neither of you are wearing the colors of House Manwoody. Neither of you particularly look like jailers, and he might recognize the Red Viper, but he doesn't say anything. He's just looking at the two of you with heckin' concern on his face.
Okay. Is he if I wanted to offer him water or something, would that be possible, or is he too?
You and Prince Oberyn were given a key to the cell, the two cells. It's the same key. There are literally 2 cells down here. That's it. It's one opposite the other. But you needed to open one to toss in the body, so you can open the other one to get in there if you need.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think probably like in preparation for this, we'll probably have brought a skin of water down.
Yeah, you could have grabbed that or a pitcher, whatever,
Yeah.
a cup of food, whatever incidental
Sure.
crap you wanted to get
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah, Adam's got a bit of a plan. It might not work, but we'll see. So he'll offer him the water first.
Yes, my lord. Thank you. Seems a little concerned. You notice immediately though, his accent is not Dornish. It sounds like a Stormlander burr to you. It's
Okay.
got a bit of a northern accent to your siblings.
You sound like a Stormlander. What's your name?
It's Albert, my lord. Albert Millerson. I make my living with steel, and I go where the silver leads me.
I see. So, care to tell us what you were doing on the wagon then, in this caravan where we found you?
I was riding crossbow, my lord. I swear I wasn't the one shot the girl. But that's what we was paid to do, escorting trade goods and such. I'm sorry for what my friend's done to your friends, and no apology needed for what your friend's done to mine. That's the business. We knew what we was signing up for.
Your apology is appreciated. We just want to ask you a few questions.
Prince Oberyn, for his part, is pacing behind you.
That's fine.
Like a caged shadow cat that you saw in White Harbor once. He's just going back and forth, just on the other side of the bars.
If anything, that's kind of perfect because I am deliberately setting up a kind of good cop bad cop kind of thing. So, so having the threat of violence in the where he can see it is
Effective.
probably morally not very okay, but it's very effective for what I want to do. So, who was it that paid you and gave you your orders?
The pretty boy with the weird eye. It was just me and about a dozen of the lads. They hired us to escort this convoy down. We made our way down here, and then rode it upriver, and then we was to deliver it up here by Kingsgrave, he says.
Where specifically were you to deliver it by Kingsgrave?
Wherever the man with the coin purse told us to.
Very well.
I don't know if it was to the town or what, but I mean, you saw where we was riding when you and your lads attacked us.
Yes,
That's where we was going.
So, was he alone? Is he the only one who was giving orders, handing out coin, that sort of thing? Do you get the impression that he worked alone?
I mean, I suppose, my lord, he's the only one what hired us and such. Just me and some of the lads was done with a shipment coming from Lannister lands, and there we was in the tavern, minding our business, having a few drinks. Figuring we'd find some other caravan to ride with before we run out of coin, and then he hires us to ride on a caravan.
Right. Well, let me just out a character check that I've understood that they were coming south from the western when they got hired.
Yeah, you get the feeling it's a dozen dudes that just kind of caravan guards.
Sure.
They made their way from the Westerlands over to the Stormlands, escorting who knows what. They were milling around in the Stormlands, killing time, looking for another caravan, and then some dude hired them in a tavern.
Right. Okay. So, well, you actually would it be a role to kind of sort of check how sincere is he being at this point, or is it?
I'm not gonna make you bother. He's answering honestly. He has
Sure. Okay.
nothing to gain from lying.
Sure. So, did man who hired you, did he speak with the men at all during the journey?
Not really, my lord. We ain't normally hired to conversate with them what brings us coin. We just ride and shoot who they tell us needs it.
Did you by any chance overhear him speaking with anyone?
No, we just all kind of kept to ourselves on the way down here from Bronzegate.
Are you sure?
I mean, we
Because I'll know. Because I'll know it. Because I will. Because I and my uncle here will know if you're lying to it.
I mean, he talked to some other merchant fella and got us oats and grain and such for the trip. And that was about all I seen.
And I take it that all is that all seeming truthful?
Yeah. It just sounds like they bought the stuff they needed. They came down from Bronzegate. Then they went River Ironwood up. It's just and they actually go after a moment and go, oh, aye. There was the folks with the ship too. And he gave them some coin.
What folks? What ship?
Just one of the river vessels, one of them trader sorts.
Do you remember where that happened?
Begging your pardon, my lord, but on the river, I don't know.
Yes, I know on the river. Were these people on the river bearing any banners, any colours?
No, it's just merchant types, it looked to me. I mean, they haggled a bit, which generally means someone ain't highborn.
What supplies was he buying?
This was just us getting food and water for the stretch of the river trip, and then for them hauling us and the goods, up river. But I don't know, it's just some fella. I mean, I've done similar routes before, and there's always that sort of haggling going on.
Right.
I don't.
So at the end of, is there someone who you would be, well, I'm presuming someone at the other end of this journey is now waiting for a handoff that is not going to come. Do you happen to know who that?
No, I mean, this is Kingsgrave, ain't it? I mean, I only been to Doran a handful of times, but I thought this was Kingsgrave, so, why'd you lot attack us if we was bringing you the armor in the first place?
Because it wasn't coming to us.
I don't know. We're on the wrong side of Ironwood to head down to Skyreach, and would have been awful silly to come all the way down to Doran if we're going back up to Nightsong, and...
No, you see, the armor shipment was actually bound for the armies of Vulture King. Have you heard of him?
I know that's... Well, begging my lord's pardon, and you too, my lord. And that's what the Dornish call whoever's causing trouble on the border. I don't know why'd we be arming him, but I bear the Dornish no ill will, so I suppose if the armor was for them and they wanted to go cause a ruckus up Blackhaven or Nightsong Way, I'm sorry for breaking the king's peace or whatnot, but I'm all for it. Go Dorn. Aye, good on ya.
Making it Dorn's purses. As spicy as can
no,
be.
We're quite aware that you are merely paid to do a job and kept rather in the dark. That's not on you. So I'm going to turn to Oberyn and say he's telling the truth. I think he knows nothing.
Oberon stops his pacing to lean casually on the prison, the cell bars, um, and gives a disappointed sigh. I think you're correct, nephew. We could always make sure.
I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think he's scared enough as it is.
I suppose so. It's been
I'm sure.
ages since I stabbed the Stormlander, though.
I'm sure you'll get your chance on the morrow.
You know it has been less than a week. Like, for the record, it's not been ages. It was about 4 days ago.
Oh yeah, totally. Which is why I'm just kind of just going, yeah, sure, whatever. So, yeah. Now I need to think of like what to do with him. I suppose we should leave him here and let my sisters decide his fate.
Or Lord Dagos, but yes, someone should. Honestly, nephew, I don't think this idiot even knew he was a bandit.
No, I don't think so either.
And the Stormlander kind of bristles at that, but isn't going to, like, take a swing. Or, you know, whatever. He doesn't.
He has an issue with.
Yeah, he's like, you know, you can tell he looks, like, offended, and his knee-jerk reaction to offense is to look aggressive. But he also knows he's chained to a fucking wall, and you guys are highborn, and he's not. So he doesn't, you know, posture up or spit on you or anything. He just kind of looks aggrieved at that.
Right. Well, I'll start heading like out of the cell and kind of locking it up again. I'll let him keep. You know, he can keep the water. It's like I can afford it for him anyway. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna tell Uncle Oberon what to do, but I'm certainly going to go and find Reyna and Bela, and yeah, if at all possible, Lord Dagos. Well, I guess I'll ask my sisters first, and then they can decide whether it gets kicked up to Dagos. So.
Right. And, you know, when in doubt, err on the side of PCs. So let's cut to those PCs. Reyna or Bela, who wants to be somewhere in particular, and what have you been up to for the last 10 minutes or so?
I would be getting some.
Probably just migrated.
I said, or Felicia. Erica started talking first. Let Bela answer.
I would have gotten like a bowl of food or something, and then kind of walked around the grounds of the keep, kind of like almost mingle with the troops a little bit, just kind of like walk through them and kind of like nod and just be like a reassuring figure that, you know, we're here, we're strong, and that we're going to be fine for tomorrow. Sort of just.
Here in the keep itself, it's mostly going to be the other highborn and knights and stuff. Did you mean like out in the army camp as well?
Yeah.
Or okay, so all right, she'll be meandering around out there. Reyna, what were you up to?
I will not be meandering around with the common folk. I mean, really. I will. I will have gotten food and settled somewhere semi-private, not like behind a closed door or anything, but like if I were in a great hall, I would be over by a column, you know.
So, just on the margins of like the Great Hall, basically, just relaxing and eating. Okay. I think of those two, you're going to be more likely to run into Reyna then. It sounds to me like Adam's probably checking within the keep before outside of the keep, so that's what makes sense to me. But we are to say that, and because Bela is purposely like making the rounds, she could probably wander back into the scene whenever she wants to. But let's
Sure.
also ask Luke, where were you headed for all this? Because if we can get more of you together, then that's always easier.
Luke will be around with the men, basically looking for any notable NPCs, just to kind of get a kind of a circle going, talking, laughing, having some drinks. So,
Most of the notable NPCs are inside the keep. Like you get the feeling that they've checked on their troops kind of throughout the day, and they're milling around in Kingsgrave proper because there is supposed to be a war council some nebulous later. So most of your named NPCs are kind of scattered around in the keep.
if we're expecting an actual war council pretty soon, then Luke will be in the keep as well. Probably
Okay.
help with some wine.
So all right, let's just go ahead and have Reyna and Luke milling around in the Great Hall. And yeah, so Bela is out making the rounds with the troops for a little bit, gathering her thoughts before calling the primary war council. So you guys have a handful of NPCs around, but everyone looks to largely be leaving one another alone with their thoughts, kind of like in a video game when NPCs are all approachable, like instead of approaching you. So they're all just kind of hanging out in the hall, picking at their food and that sort of thing, waiting for a war council meeting. So, yeah, Adam, you are able to approach Reyna and like give Luke a
So-
nod on your way up, whatever.
Sure. So, quick question: like when I left, did Oberyn leave with me? I mean, I'm presuming were we each given keys, or did just
He-
one of us get given the key? Because I would be taking the key with me unless he insisted on staying behind to beat the guy up.
He's not, and he's not gonna beat the guy up. He's gonna peel him
Such
very
negative.
professionally.
That's worse.
Love
That is
It's
way, way worse.
He's gonna, yeah.
We're not fucking.
Just-
We're not. We're not the
We're not
Boltons here.
Boltons.
He's not gonna peel him all the way. It's just I'm saying he's precise about this sort of thing. He's not some brute that's just gonna punch someone.
Oh,
He's got maester training. Please give your uncle some credit, Adam.
How dare you tell Oberyn of a misdeed?
But yes, he has the key. You guys deliver it back to like the castle jailer on your way out. Yeah, and you don't accidentally lock Prince Oberyn in there with the guy and a sharp knife or anything like that. So he's fine. Everything is
Yeah.
fine.
yeah. I hate to disappoint him, but you know.
And yeah, and Uncle Oberyn will have departed after you guys left. He's off to check on Elia.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
remember, he is still nursing his own wound also. But he's going to say he's checking on Elia instead of going to the Maester himself. But he's probably doing both because, it's Uncle Oberyn. He likes his Elias.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, like going past will kind of like nod to look to like follow me and will approach Reyna. So I questioned the prisoner and he doesn't know anything. He's just he was just paid by Cletus Ironwood to guard the wagon. He wasn't spoken to about any greater plans. He knows almost less than nothing. It's quite infuriating, but I thought you should know because I thought either yourself or Lord Dagos would want to decide what to do with him now. He seems like a bit of a clueless fool who has been roped into something way above his head.
Well,
He was very effusive in his apologies.
it's good for him. And it must be convincing, judging by the way Uncle Oberyn has left.
Yes, he was.
And I mean,
Yes, he seemed disappointed that no violence had to be applied.
and out of character, just a reminder, like from his perspective, the story absolutely adds up. Like they were hired to be caravan guards. They got attacked by a bunch of Dornishmen. They tried to ride away. They got captured. Like he thought you were the bandits. Like you, absolutely.
Yeah.
He seemed sincere with everything he said. And you're
Yeah.
like, Yeah, I guess I could see how he sees that way. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it was kind of
Yeah,
rude
so-
of us.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. So as far as he thought that they were delivering the armor to Kingsgrave and that we were the bandits. So
To my knowledge, there's no crime against being a sellsword.
no, he doesn't seem to have actually committed any real crime. So we should probably let the poor fellow go home. In my opinion, he fully cooperated. He doesn't seem to have done anything like actually criminal, and he's terrified of us, and he cooperated fully with my questions. So I would consider doing any harm upon him to be probably quite unjust. He didn't even know who Cletus Ironwood was.
It's Lord Dagos' decision. This happened on his lands. We're outside of the tumult of battle,
All
and
right.
those decisions must be weighed by the Lord of that. What do you call it here? Region. Right.
Those lands.
Lands.
So,
It's-
do you want me to go and tell him, or do you want to do it? I'm quite happy to go to him and tell him everything that I've told you.
I have no interest in this one pseudo bandit's fate, to be honest. So, do what you must.
Very well.
If you want to, that's. I mean, if you don't have anything better to do with your time tonight,
The night is young.
when Bailey returns, we'll have our official war council for the morning, and then we'll be free to pursue whatever amusements we choose.
On the topic of the official war council, Sir Garrus Drinkwater is in here, just chilling and eating some dinner, sitting a couple seats away from other friendly NPC type. Like, he does not seem to be skulking about. He is not missing.
All right, we've
So,
felt this before.
heads up.
See his picture.
So like Adam will trot off to like basically tell Lord Douglas the same things that he told Raina Lucaris and kind of make his recommendation. It doesn't need to be like on screen or anything.
And I'm not even gonna bother making you roll. He will absolutely listen to the Nymaryens in this concern, and you're pretty good at talking to people, and you're not even like lying or whatever. So, yeah, he is well. He's like, let's keep him locked up for now.
Yes,
but
I would say
probably
wait.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say wait until after the battle and then send him.
And perhaps he can help in the Maester tents or clearing the battlefield after we've won tomorrow, and that alone could be penance enough for his accidental support of these troublemakers.
I think that sounds appropriate.
Thank you, young Adam. Your sense of justice does House Nymaryen credit.
Thank you.
That's why Adam is Adam.
And this is like up in his solar. He hasn't left.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there like picking at his food and hoping that a raven shows up that says King Robert's on his way or some shit. Like, he seems to be just hanging out there instead of traveling. But yeah, so he's pleased with your report, thinks well of you for it, and you are off the hook, as is everyone else. That
Cool.
said, to me, that makes this kind of feel like a decent breaking point, because you guys have now handled the problems from last episode pretty fully, and role-played out your immediate reactions to those problems. And when we get back, I'm basically not doing any of the work. Like, it's all gonna be the ball in your all's courts, as you decide what you're all doing the night before the battle and how you're wrestling with your fears or your excitement or your eagerness or whatever, and what NPCs you're wrestling with in doing that, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and take our break just a few minutes early, and we will see everybody back here in 10 minutes.
All right, cool.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. So we have about half an episode to go, and like I said, I'm basically passing the buck. This is going over to the players now, because we're going to spend the rest of this episode just letting them roleplay each of their characters' way of dealing with the coming battle. None of them have ever been in a battle before, something with 1,000 men on each side, and certainly not been in charge of one. So everyone's got their own stuff to deal with in preparation, and we've been avoiding that dealing with stuff all week because you guys were frantically running this way and running out here and racing over here and just getting in a fight, licking your wounds, getting in another fight, and now we've got a week's worth of that to bleed off, and a coming battle to prepare for. So it's going to be PCs handling stuff, up to and including potentially the PCs handling this War Council. But I'm gonna just hand it over to Bela, because she's the one that missed the last scene, and we'll let her kind of take point and take it away.
Okay. So I'm wrapping up my stroll through the troops to like size them up and give them encouragement, and coming back into the keep at this point. And I'll say, upon entering there, I'll just say, War Council in the Solar, 10 minutes. And then just make kind of like an announcement to the room.
Luke hears that, he nods, and he's going to take off after Uncle Oberon.
Lord Edric and little Robert Frey dart out of the room to go spread the word to anyone that isn't here. So the word will get to everyone that you need to get that word. And it looks like we just lost Ash again. Bear with us, everybody. Remember, Ash is calling in long distance all the way across the Atlantic. So he has a few more tech issues than the rest of us. So we're a little weird looking on the camera right now, but you'll be all right. All right, and you were going somewhere, Robert, you said?
Yes, Luke is bolting to catch up to Oberon.
Uncle Oberon, you haven't seen for a little bit. You last saw him leaving with Adam to go interrogate someone, and then Adam returned post-interrogation with no Uncle Oberon in tow.
No, he was there, then he took off to the... Or did he not come by us?
He did not come back to you guys. He left from, like, the jail to go to the area.
Yeah, that being the case, if I hadn't seen him, Luke is going to go help himself with some wine and basically wait up for the next 10 minutes or so.
All right, so just killing time pre-War Council. What about the Lady Reyna?
I think to myself that I need to get a secretary.
Got him. Oh, you like that?
Want to record it. Adam's not my secretary.
You know, Maester Ferris is going to be taking copious notes. Uh-oh. Lost everyone on Discord. Are we still
Yeah,
here?
no, we're back.
I'm here.
I think
Okay, everyone's...
I think it just like switched us in the Discord servers to a different region.
Yeah, I'm green. I'm all green now.
Yeah.
But
it dropped.
it's all right.
Anyway, I will go into the Solar and choose my spot and think about how we need to have some craftsmen create us a big stupid map with all the little pieces that we can move around.
Oh.
Because, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't Bela like to have one of those?
Yeah. I imagine we could have some makeshift sort of thing.
What you guys find as you're getting to the Solar is, A, Maester Ferris is already there, sharpening a few quills and like laying them out in front of him like an archer sticking arrows into the ground before a fight. So he is ready. He has 2 inkwells, just one in case one of them magically goes dry. He's got the second inkwell ready to go. But you do see that they have scrounged the Sivas set from Lord Dagos. And you can use those basically chess pieces is what we're going to go with.
Yeah.
Sivas is never explained in great detail. Welcome back, Ash. So yeah, the Maester's already there, just prepping and like getting ready to write the most important notes of his career. Lord Dagos has neatened up the desk enough that it can work as an impromptu battlefield. And you've heard throughout the week, it's a pretty straightforward field. This is the Vulture King functionally standing toe-to-toe and wanting to trade blows with you lot. It's a big open field. There's no high ground advantage to be had on either side. It's basically like the farmland of Kingston right here. So it's big, open, flat, no real terrain to work with for advantage or disadvantage. It's almost him like daring the Lords of Dorne to stand here and swing at him, right? So there's not a lot of detail to worry about on the battlefield, and you've got a Sivas set that you can use to, put down various unit markers.
Okay.
And over the next several minutes, basically everyone but the squires works their way in. Lord Edric Dayne is here not as a squire, but yeah, like little Robert Frey is staying outside. Oris has not arrived. Lady Alysain Mormont is milling around in the hallway, like she's not sure if she's invited or not. But like she'll be close enough if anybody gives her a nod, right? But she's like, oh, I don't know if they want me in there. I don't know. So she's kind of looking cool. Neither of the sand snakes are here, but Prince Oberyn saunters up a few minutes early. And yeah, Lord Beric, Lord Edric, Sir Balin, Sir Garrus Drinkwater, who Lord Beric is chatting amiably with. Sir Miles Manwoody is here, glaring at Maester Ferris, like, I just dare you to get up from those notes and worry about my bleeding, right? Like he looks pretty scuffed up, but he has been on his own 2 feet and he's not using a crutch or anything today. But he's still like giving the Maester a kind of challenging glare. And Sir Edwin Wynn is in attendance, looking
Good.
pretty big and bold. And yeah, you guys have several rather burly and good-looking knightly types crammed into a room that's a little bit too small for them. None of the seats have been taken, except one. By Prince Oberyn, who is sitting in it all sideways, just lounging.
He's really not helping the bisexual stereotype at all, is he?
On the contrary, I think he's helping it quite a bit.
But you notice that the other chairs have been left open. No one is going to risk being the knight that sat down if a lady might need a chair. So, yeah, there's like 5 open chairs that none of them are taking, even though they know there's only 2 ladies that might want to sit in them. No one's gonna risk that. So,
yeah, I have a third. I will escort Lady Mormont in.
She gives you her beaming, crooked-toothed northerner smile, and then just walks in. It's like, ooh, and hurries over and plops her rump down into one of the seats, like she's surprised that they're not taken.
Luke is gonna lean against a wall nearby, but not take a chair.
I will take a seat. I'm not the one who has to command these blokes right now.
Yeah. I will be standing, and After like a few moments of realizing no one's gonna take the chairs, I'll say, Lords, Knights, be seated, please. Please make use of the chairs. There's going to be a lot of us in here.
It still takes them a moment, because they're all like, well, now, like, which of us is going to sit first and look weakest, right? It's just this weird kind of macho patrick stuff. Lord Edric grabs a chair and scoots and angles it a bit towards Lord Barrick. So he is not sitting, but he's giving Lord Barrick an excuse. And once Lord Barrick politely takes the seat from his squire, Sir Garrus shrugs and has a seat, and Sir Miles Manwoody stands behind one and leans on it a bit, but does not sit down. And eventually, Sir Balin Swann will do as his lady commands, and rather stiffly take a seat in the remaining chair. So there we go.
Okay. So I have a pretty good idea of how to, how to arrange things. I do have one question regarding the general layout of the battlefield as it relates to our guerrilla troops. As you know, we have 2 units of guerrillas, or 200 troops, and they do pretty well if you can kind of like set them up in like ambushes perhaps and such. Is there terrain that would be somewhat favorable to like letting them set up in like a wooded area close to the battlefield, or is it just so wide open that it's not really something that can happen?
Yeah, this is the wide open kind of farming land for House Mangrave.
Okay.
Lord Dagos suggests, well, if they're decent enough scouts, perhaps you could lay them in wait to just guard the flanks. If they're willing to hunker down in some tall grain and the like, maybe they could just be an insurance policy to help guard the archers. Bit of a nasty surprise if anyone gets too close.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds perfect for them. Great.
And out of character, it's probably not enough to be like obscuring terrain, but they're pretty good and the grasses are pretty tall. So if they're making a point of being hidden, if it comes up, we'll still handle some stealth rolls.
And there are rules for that in the system for stealth and surprise like that. So yes, that's the exact kind of thing I was curious about. So I like that. Okay.
So yeah, there's nothing particularly dense like that's going to provide them cover, right? Like there's not like an actual forest or anything like that, but there's enough that they can at least put in a good faith effort at hiding and staying out of sight.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. Well, then I have a more complete view of how this is going to unfold. And I'm moving over so I can get on the camera just fine for stream.
Yeah, because yours got a little askew.
So with that and with everyone being there and ready, I'll say welcome everyone. As you look around the room, we see representation from all corners of this region. Dornishmen, Stormlanders, friends, allies, even people who would normally not be seen together in such forces. As I kind of like glance over at Sir Garrus. But we're here because we're going to put an end to the Vulture King, at least for some time. This duty falls on us at the behest of our king, and the duty that befalls all of us for protecting our own lands from those who would steal and rob from us and murder throughout these lands indiscriminately. I take this seriously, and I know that you all will as well. Amongst all of us... Okay, go ahead.
It's a series of grave nods. Even Uncle Oberyn doesn't quip or anything. It's just everyone, they also seem impressed by the turnout of this kind of coalition and they've had a week to hang out together, and there hasn't been much trouble. So, yeah, everybody seems to be on that same page for sure.
As we turn our sights to the battle in front of us, we have a large complement of cavalry, and I believe this will be our largest factor in our victory for tomorrow. I intend for our infantry to line up centrally in the field, with our archers behind the infantry for protection. We will have cavalry split into two forces, one on each side. Leading our vanguard will be Sir Wynn.
And Sir Edwin gives a nod of his big head atop his broad shoulders.
Yeah.
And seems to be looming just a little bit taller than everyone else for a few seconds.
He has had a very personal loss in the fight against the Vulture King, and he knows all too well the perils that lie in letting these crimes go unpunished, and for that he will be a most worthy and valiant vanguard.
You're here.
Also, for additional protection for our archers, we will have a unit of guerrillas set up on either side amongst the tall crops for an ambush or a surprise for any who might try to outflank us.
Another round of agreeable nods.
Oh, I'm like putting little dudes on the table, just so you know.
Go play with the little men.
The Vulture King seems to have massed a large number of forces as well. But keep in mind that our efforts this week have brought us several very key victories. We have eliminated 2 of his lieutenants, along with their complement of forces. We have dwindled his complement of archers. We have stolen a shipment of armor that was due to be sent to them, and we have recommissioned them for use among our troops, and not just Nymaryen troops, but cavalry and infantry from House Swann and House Dondarrion as well.
You get grateful nods from those two. They've already been like overseeing the distribution and stuff, so like they knew it, but you get kind of open confirmation / acknowledgement / thank yous from that pair of dashing Stormlanders.
And with our successes so far, and the bonding that has happened between all of our forces, if you go down and you take a look through our troops, you will see them mingling. We have not been separate houses. We've not been separate forces. We have integrated and we've become one for the purposes of removing the Vulture King from our lands. That will give us a decisive advantage tomorrow in the battle, where the Vulture King will expect us to be separate and fighting amongst ourselves for glory. But it will come to all of us as we fight hard, we fight well, and we will take down the Vulture King, and we will make a name for all of us in the history books, as I make a nod to the Maester Ferris, who's busy recording all of this.
Yes, he is furiously scribbling away. And you actually get a brief interjection from Lord Dagos Manwoody. He says, Indeed, it will echo through the ages those who stood with House Manwoody in our hour of need. And I wish all of you to know that you have my personal thanks, not only that of your prince and your king. I shudder to think of what may have happened to my family if you lot had not arrived.
We are happy to be here to help rid these lands of these vile bandits. And with that, I take Sunspear and I raise her up and I say, to battle, to glory, to victory, and then I stomp it down like to make a big thud on the ground.
You get an assortment of toasts and or stomps in return, based on whether people have a drink in their hand right that second or not. But yeah, it is I don't want to say super rousing because it is, like a dozen people or whatever tops. But yeah, absolute assent from all present that are looking forward to fighting together beneath you.
Okay. And I'll say, use tonight wisely to gather your strength, focus your minds, and we'll see you on the battlefield tomorrow.
Try not to get too drunk.
At least not till we win.
Yeah, exactly. The drunkenness will be for afterwards.
All right. Any other particular NPC distributions that you want to handle right now? You don't have to role play them out with everybody, and you don't have to decide. We've got a few weeks, but if you wanted to, kind of now's the time. But also, Ash, what's up?
Well, it was related to that.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned a couple of sessions ago that there'd be another chance for me to do decipher and logic rolls on the book that I found with Mr. Ferris's help. So I would like to do that at some point before the battle to try and get as much useful information out of that as possible, and to make use of the 2 bonus dice that I bought.
I was just going to handle that off screen with you,
Okay.
and then give the mechanical benefits as a surprise to Erica in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could just do the die rolling and then surprise her with some bonuses when the time comes.
Yeah.
I just thought
Okay.
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely
It's gonna-
keep it as a surprise too. I'd rather find out like at the time where it becomes relevant,
Okay.
so you two can keep it to your DMs.
No, very well. Keep your secrets.
Like out of character, I hadn't put too much thought yet into exactly where I want everyone to be. Generally, 2 thoughts. One is I want to try to keep people near where their actual troops are. That, even though I just made a big spiel about us sort of being like together and integrated, in general, things kind of work separated, and so I will keep them closer by to their own troops as much as I can. Most of the NPCs are pretty good at commanding, so I'll probably have some of them be what the game calls sub-commanders and able to give out like orders to units instead of attaching, which will probably be most of what Nymaryen siblings end up doing. That way they can,
attaching.
yeah.
For most best use.
So, all right, you don't have to have it worked out today out of character, but you would be working it out today in character.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, I wanted to kind of give you that chance. If you wanted to roleplay that stuff out.
Yeah. So
but-
yeah. So Sir Edwin will definitely be with his cavalry because he'll be with the vanguard. So that one's already spoken for. Sir Garrus will be with his Drinkwater infantry as well as the Ironwood infantry. And they'll be together amongst the infantry. Let's see.
And Sir Garrus gives like an upbeat nod and a jaunty little toast. He goes, "Well, if me and the Ironwood lads could make it through the trip up here, I wager we'll make it through the battle tomorrow just fine. There's no way the Father and the Warrior saw us this far just to let us fall tomorrow." And
Glad to hear.
again, strikes the lot of you as completely sincere. Like he's just looking forward to doing his part to help this coalition out. So yeah.
No, it's good. It's no less than what we would expect. So
I just want to point out when he betrays us, we're going to then find this arc of him tying a blonde to railroad tracks.
yeah.
We already gave it away.
Let's see. Sir Balin, who is renowned for his fighting with his mace. I'll have him with his infantry as well. And let's see.
He gives Sir Garrus a companionable like slug in the arm, like we'll be side by side. That just kind of locker room bro stuff, because they're going to be the ones working together to protect the archers, and Sir Balin certainly seems to be okay with that.
Let's see. Let's go up there. Lord Dayne is the squire for Sir Beric, correct?
Lord Barry.
He
Lord,
is,
sorry. I wrote it
but
wrong somewhere else.
Yeah, he is also though the Lord of House Dayne.
Yeah.
So it's really up to you how you want to treat him. It would be a little more Westerosi to kind of treat him as just an extension of Lord Beric. And just so you know, mechanically, if you do that, he'll just be giving Lord Beric an assist on everything Lord Beric has to do. Or it could be a little more Dornish to say even a Dornish boy is a lord in Dorne, etc. And attach him as his own character to his own Dane knights. But that guy, it's kind of up to you. Like little Robert Frey, he's just like off screen, right? But with Edric Dayne, he's a little bit, Edric Dayne's a little bit different cut. So it's really up to you if you want to treat him as an attachment to Lord Beric or as the Lord of Starfall.
Okay, I will say, Lord Dayne, would you be willing to lead your cavalry into battle tomorrow?
He stops and looks at Lord Beric first. Can I?
Huh?
And Lord Beric makes a big show of and sipping in his mulled wine. Not sure. But then he cracks and he grins. Of course, lad. You're the Lord of Starfall tomorrow, not my squire. But tonight you're still my squire. I expect my armor polished. And a jaunty wink and a toast.
Okay. Lord Dondarrion, would you care to lead your cavalry, or would you be interested in staying on foot with your infantry?
Well, it would be a shame to have all these dashing cloaks made for saddleback and then not go riding this whole time. I think I'll keep my spurs on, thank you, my lady.
Very well. And let's see. Go to all the other ones that I have. Uncle, well, do you have a preference for how you fight tomorrow?
Poison spear. No wait, 2 poison spears.
You can see his dark and dangerous gaze flicker over towards the maester, and then he takes in a bit of a breath, like he's taking in a bit of a breath. And then he looks quietly resigned for a moment. Perhaps best if I keep the archers shooting in the right direction. Which is functionally him asking to be out of the fight. But he does have that wound that he is still nursing. He is not an archer, so for him, it's functionally being out of the fight, compared to leading the charge up front with his spear in hand.
Okay.
But it looks like he is willing to kind of ride the bench on this one.
Yep, that's fine. I figured I would ask him instead of, since I knew he had the wound, I didn't want to like say, hey, go do this, and then him like beg off of it. So
yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. Lady Alysanne, would you and Lord Frey care to fight amongst the infantry tomorrow?
Oh, thank the mother. I thought you were going to sit me on a bloody horse. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, feet on the ground. Here we stand. That's the words. It's not a bit about riding.
It's true.
Great. I can't wait to see what you're able to do.
Bears are too large to ride horses anyways, my lady.
Let's see.
She's not going to leer seductively in the war council. She's picked up a little bit of seriousness this week. So out of character, is that probably one of the Dondarrion infantry units?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming Balin Swann's with his. But okay, just for my own halfway
Yes.
keeping track.
Yeah. And then let's see. We have Sir Oris, who I would prefer he ride with some cavalry.
Edric Dayne quietly clears his throat and then blushes and looks away.
How did
Like, you think maybe he might want Oris to ride with him? Like, they average out to an average-sized knight. And also, like, Edric did just fight him in a squire's tourney, so maybe he's like, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, he doesn't say it. He just kind of goes,
All right.
and that is blushy and looking
Oris, why don't you join Lord Dayne?
And Oris isn't here.
Okay.
Yeah, he was staying away, but you can still assign him as a notable NPC.
Lord Dayne, Oris will join you tomorrow. Sir Oris.
He beams, but in like a wholesome cinnamon man way, not in an I stole your man way. So Adam doesn't have to go across the desk at him or anything. He just, you get the feeling he's...
Adam would never do such a thing.
You get the feeling
he might just have a quiet yet threatening word later on.
Quiet yet threatening.
I borrowed this knife from my uncle. I don't even know what's on it, boy.
Wow. And
yeah, Edric looks a little bit relieved at riding in Oris's shadow.
Well, that's understandable. It's a very comforting shadow.
Let's see, and then
we still have
the sand snakes.
Yes.
Have I missed a knight?
You still have Sir Miles Manwoody.
Yeah, I looked at him and say, when we rescued you, Sir Miles, you were not in great shape. Are you fit for battle?
Never better, he says, glaring at the maester, like he's daring him to pay attention to what's being said instead of just scrawling it. He goes, I'm fit for the saddle, my lady. You've my word on it.
Excellent. I'm looking for a good cavalry for him.
You don't have to figure that out right this second. We'll get it, but
all right.
Yeah, he definitely looks happy with that.
Great. Yeah, all right. You will definitely fit in with some cavalry tomorrow. And there, this sand snake. So, Uncle, your daughters, Elia took a nasty strike during the mission today. Do you think that she would be able to help out with the archers as well?
I think with all night to convince her, I can talk Elia into guarding my flank as long as she's still on horseback. And out of character, that's perfectly fine. You can still have mounted people in the fluff, like leading an infantry unit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Obara will kill us all if she's not somewhere a bit more aggressive by dawn.
Yes, I had plans for her to lead one of the cavalry units as well.
He gives a satisfied nod, like the blood of House Nimros Martell is okay with it as long as somebody is up there being aggro.
Okay, great. And I look around the room, making sure that I've assigned roles for everyone, and then lastly I'll turn to Reyna. What role do you wish? Okay. Would you be able to ride with one of our cavalry units?
I would be thrilled to ride with one of the cavalry units.
Same with you, Sir Luke.
I've been away from home too long. If I'm to shed blood of tomorrow, let us do it with our own men.
Very well. And Lord Adam the Archer. Would you
Yes, sir.
would you lead our archer units in the battle tomorrow?
It would be an honor.
Great. Then it's settled.
For out of character purposes, what we can do, because I'm only counting 3 units of archers, we can, for math purposes, we can say that Elia is embedded in one archer unit, not just kind of hovering over her father, because I can see her still taunting and goading along 100 Nymaryen archers to try and outshoot other units, type of thing. You have to shoot faster than Arabs, just faster, you idiots! Right, like so. Mathematically, that would still get you a PC or NPC in each archer. So,
Great.
like, in the fluff, she's going to be kind of hovering close by her dad, but for game purposes, I'm fine with calling her attached to one of those units.
Excellent. Then we have an attached leader for each of our archers. We have 4 leaders for infantry, if I count right. Maybe 3.
We got Alisane, Balin Swann, and Garrus Drinkwater.
Okay,
right?
so 3, which is not bad. And then we have leaders for, 5.
My Excel just crashed, so
Okay.
I lost my.
So plenty of our cavalry have leaders as well, which is good. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty happy with this.
I believe that's 5 of the 7
Yeah.
cavalry units that'll have an embedded or attached leader. And are you counting yourself in that?
I was under the impression that the main leader doesn't attach to anything because they're like coordinating everything.
You can if they're a personal guard, but I don't remember if you guys have that.
If I'm allowed to have a personal guard, I will definitely take some
Well,
cavalry.
it's a particular unit type. So 1 second.
I don't-
Buy some
yeah.
this. We'll go to the Walmart. We'll buy some guards, a little more infantry, and always use more gorillas.
Let's see, power, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, we didn't have the points to get a proper personal guard or honor guard, I think they're called. So yeah, you'll just gotta be milling around, giving orders, sending runners, yada yada yada. So, all right.
Yeah, I'll have like a retinue of messengers and such.
Yeah, and people waving banners and blowing horns, and all that normal cinematic medieval warfare stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll go into this more detail in the battle, but I kind of like envision her kind of being near the infantry and the archers, for battle purposes.
Yeah, just probably a little behind them.
Yeah.
Runners can come and go in safety, reach the cavalry easily, yada yada.
Yep.
But yeah, sounds like it's a pretty solid layup. You've got 5 of your 7 cavalry units with attached NPCs. In theory, that means like 2 are kind of being in reserve, right? It kind of gives you a way to react to the flanks.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's either going to be able to give orders or give +1 die. So we will see how it all falls together in a couple weeks. Because even in my own home campaigns, we've only dabbled in these rules a bit in a terribly unfair fight arranged by Lord Jonathor the Generous of House Raddick in the Westerlands. The big battle scene that our GM had planned did not go as hard as he thought it would. So we still haven't really used them much. But yeah, I think we're out of character. We're in a pretty good spot to pick that up, and you guys have a pretty good array of NPCs, all set to spread the love.
Yeah, so like before this, I was a little bit concerned with the ability of me giving out orders like every single unit and saying, "Oh my gosh, I can give like orders to like a quarter of our forces in any given like game rounds." I'm like, this would be horrible. But by attaching people, I would no longer need to do that, other than just like give general orders, and they can be followed pretty easily.
Yeah. So, out of character and kind of meta narrative, I think you guys are pretty set for the battle. So I think most of what's left is going to be then, like I said, kind of that in character, angsting, heckin' concern, bravado, whatever everybody's wanting to dip their toes into
Mm-hmm.
for the remainder of the session.
Adam is made of heckin' concerned.
So does anybody have anything else that they particularly want to roleplay during the War Council? If not, NPCs will start trickling out, but the NPCs anybody wants to stay close will be conveniently close. But if there's nothing else...
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's all from Bela.
Alrighty. Lord Dagos will give a content nod. I'd say, well, the 7 have sent the help that we're going to get. I hope to see you all tomorrow evening.
Yes.
And with that, people kind of start to drift out, and we're at least going to kick off the kind of open roleplay scene in the hallway out front, with everyone milling around, including Oris and the Squire Damon Sand, little Robert Frey. Just kind of everybody is scattered in this front hallway. Both Sand Snakes are there, So you guys are free to kind of go to whatever NPCs or PCs you want to, and we've got some time left for this kind of awful night before getting ready for a big ass battle.
Yeah, Luke is gonna try to talk to Oberon before it gets too far.
All right, we will start there then. There is Prince Oberon.
Uncle, a word maybe.
Several, if you ask nicely.
I do, of course. It's, well, now I don't know if I have words. I haven't actually been in a battle before.
Most people haven't.
I guess a lot of people only get the one.
Yes, the unlucky ones.
I have done what I can to make sure no nervousness or ill emotions are betrayed to the rest of the soldiers. But honestly, I don't know how to proceed. I don't, other than just to do it.
That's the trick. If you stop and think too much, the odds are very good you will die, and so will a great many other people. Keep it simple. You see the foe, you kill the foe, you don't let the foe kill you. Do that until they stop trying, and eventually you've won a battle.
I guess that is what it is.
In their own way, battles are as simple as the fighting pits in Meereen, only larger and louder. You are wielding larger weapons because you are throwing whole men around instead of blades. But in the end, it is much the same. Kill until you can stop.
I'd like to see those fighting pits at some point.
The view from inside is quite a bit more exciting than the view from the stands.
I didn't say anything about stands, Uncle. Is Elio right?
She will be fine. Her arm was... Sorry, that was out of character, not in character.
He's got the plague.
No!
Her arm was set well enough, it should not heal crookedly. Maester Ferris agrees with my initial assessment. She will be fine, and I think she'll be the stronger for it. I heard how it happened. I haven't spoken to Adam yet, but I'm proud of him.
They both performed beyond anything I could expect, especially given their foe. Strong-headed, but well fought.
She will be fine. And if we tried to tell her she wasn't, who knows what would happen to many of us while we sleep tonight.
Oh, I had no plans of telling her that. That is your job, Uncle.
I would send Obara.
All right, I'm going to have a fair amount of wine and try to have some fun tonight.
A sound plan, nephew. I will leave you to it.
Thank you, Uncle. And Luke's gonna walk away, and he's gonna look for like a barrel of wine and take back to his tent, and just kind of round anybody up who wants to go.
Just
Well,
roll it
let's-
all the way down there.
Let's jump to some other PCs first and see where everyone else ends up. Which of you would like to go next? Gentle ladies and sir?
One of you go. I just did a bunch of talking at the War Council.
I think Felicia should go next.
Because you're not nervous or anything.
I'm fine. I'm genuinely trying to take a bit more of a back seat and let other people do stuff.
Okay. Raina is going. It's trying very much to not look like this is any other like the youth before any other event. We've been fighting all week. This is not going to be that much different, is what she thinks. No, she knows it's not. It's going to be different, but that's what she's using to bolster her confidence and serenity. So so she will, mingle with our people here and be regal, and you know, reassuring if they need reassuring, I guess, but in her way, which is not that reassuring. I'm
It's like,
trying to think of.
I command you to not be afraid.
How obvious is her nervousness? Like, just as I'm walking around.
I don't know. How obvious is it?
I can
Roll-
tell you right
ro-
now, no NPCs will see it.
Roll empathy against her passive deception.
Passive deception. What is that?
Your deception times 4.
Okay. That's just a 12. I have a bonus die in bluff though.
That would make it a 13 then, let's say. So if
Okay.
any of the siblings are trying to particularly keep an eye out on one another,
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Bonus and empathy, right? Not notice would be applicable.
correct, it would be
It would
an
be-
empathy roll.
I don't have that one.
I have empathy.
Ooh, that was a good roll though. Should keep that for a battle.
I have an 18.
That's
For
I have a
16.
19.
You guys
What
suck.
was, and what was yours, Ash?
16.
All right. The secret is out. All 3 of your siblings can tell that Reyna is doing that Nymaryen shit and keeping up a bold and aristocratic face for the underlings. But, yeah, like, unsurprisingly perhaps, your sister is concerned about, a battle tomorrow.
Yeah. We also, like, Adam's passive deception is 8. He's really shit at deception, so it's going to be very obvious that he's really nervous. You don't need to roll. He's just like anything being said to do with the battle gets nervous laughter from him.
While this is happening, I just picture like Luke's in the background. He walks. He comes back with a casket of wine. He goes back. Comes back with a pizza. He goes back. Put sub. He goes back. More wine.
I am.
You should really get yourself a squire to do that for you.
Yeah.
Why
it's
does he
like-
have a squire? Why doesn't he have a squire? Are you his squire?
What do you mean?
Is Adam Luke's squire?
No, I mean not like officially, but
Not a good one.
Gra-
no.
Grandpa Maker said that Grandpa Maker said I was to squire for the 3 of you, which I think is unfair because there's 3 of you. Normally a squire has 1 knight,
You still just
but
have
I mean,
one knight.
thankfully you haven't actually told me to do very much, so I'll probably be like
True.
cleaning armor is probably about the most I've had to do.
Some would say a good squire doesn't have to be told.
Shots fired.
Yeah, no shit.
Not yet, but they will be.
Yeah, I'm not winning that fight.
Yes, remember, brother, that you're riding into battle ahead of me.
Yes.
Right.
Luke is going to whisper to both of them as he goes by, I got drinks, I got food, come to my tent if you want.
That sounds pretty good.
I guess I don't really know Reyna well enough to know that she hates, like, regular people. Or else I'd probably go to Dondarrion and suggest he do something about it, but...
Well, he's not regular people.
Right.
He's a lord of quality.
Lord of quality. Is that a thing? I thought it was a knight of
Yeah,
quality.
you get a knight of quality, but I mean, just look at his cape collection. He's clearly a man of quality.
Maybe we should spend time together.
It's either that or you have to say yes to your brother's invitation.
I'm at the whole fridge now as I walk by.
So, is there an answer to Lucaris's offer, or is anybody else wanting to approach Reyna and speak up, or is anybody else doing anything in particular?
Yeah, so I'll come out of the Solar at some point and then go and try to get something to eat, but then I'll notice Reyna, and I notice that about her, that she's kind of doing that Nymaryen thing. And I'll kind of like walk over and say, "You picked up that tell from grandfather." Oh no, she froze.
Yeah, it looks like she just lost her. All right, she's back. She's back.
All right,
yeah,
all right,
you
all right. I
lost-
can hear you. I heard you. You picked up a towel from grandfather, and then I gave a little blink. It was like, I did what?
You know, the one where he pretends everything's good and fine, but like he has that like little twitch right above his eye. You do the same thing.
Is my eye twitching?
Not like twitching, but you know, it's just like a little tiny movement every once in a while.
I feel like that might be called restraint or social armor.
Very well, but I must ask, are you okay? Are you ready?
I am not sure that I will ever be ready for this. But this is an important step on the way to our futures.
Yes,
Did
it
you
is.
see them out there?
See who?
Did you see how they looked at us?
Oh, the troops? Of course.
All of those people. Not all of them our people,
Hmm.
but ours nonetheless.
Right.
That is why I have to go out there and not die.
Hopefully we can raise that bar that a little bit from not dying to doing okay. That that might be like the low bar, but let's lift that up a little bit. Look, they're counting on us just like we're counting on them. We're in this together. We play our parts, and they'll play theirs.
I believe I feel like I have more to prove on the battlefield than you do. Everyone already knows exactly how accomplished you are
Indeed.
on the battlefield.
But tomorrow, the difference is I'll be leading and commanding. Sunfire here probably won't see much action. It's my planning and strategy and tactics being put to test here. Something I have not yet been able to demonstrate. So I also have something to prove.
I guess.
What?
It's like, I guess.
Yes. Whatever. Ah.
It was just, you just had this look of, oh, she's right, but I don't want to say she.
You're right. I don't want to say that.
That's okay, we're sisters. We don't have to
That
say it.
wonderful Nymaryen humility.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I don't think it is either.
The joke.
Alright, so what else do you have to do tonight, Bela?
Well, for starters, I'm going to eat a bit more. Then, I don't know. Probably just find some people to talk with for a while.
Well, apparently Luke is having a bit of a. I'm not going to say a kegger because that's what I want to say. Luke has invited us out to his tent.
It's but a soapbox social.
I'm sure he's invited plenty of young, pretty women to his tent, sister.
No, I mean not that. Like us.
Like the whole room.
like, like you and me and Adam and probably Oris and he probably wouldn't mind a few extra people, but I don't think it's just for us to be.
I understand. Yes, let me get some food and I will meet you there.
And if Adam's still there, I look at him like that's what he meant, right? That's how I interpreted it.
Well, yes, as I understand it, I think he just means for it to be a light-hearted gathering with some drinks and food. He did. I think if he was expecting it to be intimate company, he would not have invited us.
Right. But you are bringing Oris.
I haven't spoken to Oris yet. I thought perhaps to invite him and Ned, possibly. Sorry, Lord Edric.
Oh,
If I could
Ned?
see-
Ned Stark?
What? No.
No,
Dayne.
I forgot. He only lets his friends call him that.
Oh. I see.
I looked down the hall and I'm like, oh. Well. I don't know what Barrick's. I mean, I know what Barrick's doing tonight. I just. So, no.
Yeah, Adam just be like, just trying not to have a little laugh there.
Just don't know when he's going to be doing it. So.
Well, I don't expect Luke will make you stay the entire night.
Alright, well, I'm going to tell Barrick where to find me when he's wanting to go for a walk.
In his bed.
No.
But why would you do that? You'd be just tramping like mud all over it. That makes no sense.
Yeah. So I will. Don't kill Robert. So
Please don't.
I will subtly, oh so subtly, just tell them going out to Luke's tent to spend a little time with him.
Don't say it that way, though. That sounds weird.
And that if he wishes to come, he's welcome to do so, or I can meet up with him later, or
Well, we shouldn't have a lady walking by herself through this 1,000-strong band of ruffians and killers just outside our gate. Perhaps an escort to keep you safe, of course.
God, he's a dork. I love him.
right, right. Okay.
I do like he's this like dashing, like capable lord, but he's also a bit of a dork, and it's very sweet.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll allow him to escort me. Like, but I think I think those are my ruffians.
They do seem rather smitten with the Drake Quins, I believe some of them have come to call you. But, yes, still, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely. So I will take
Alright.
him there.
So that will go on. Bela kind of spearheaded that conversation that sent Reyna away. Luke's already gone, so let's check in on Adam, because he was at that one a little bit, but Adam has not shown much initiative yet. So let's go to Sir Adam the Archer. Sorry, Adam the Archer.
I'm getting given like so many titles I haven't earned yet. Wow, this is I'm very humbled, very luxurious. So Adam will first kind of I think he would go for Edric first.
Who's your plan to go for second?
Yeah, probably Oris.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, which makes this
Is it
good news.
sequential or
Because
parallel?
as you guys left,
Sorry, Robert.
Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I asked, is this sequential or parallel?
Well, I mean, if they're in the same place, then I guess I'd like talk to them together. But it's
Yes,
wait, hold on, I might be being oblivious again.
it's fine. But yes, actually they are.
Oh,
It looks like as everyone was leaving, Edric went looking for Oris to tell him where he would be fighting tomorrow. So you actually see Edric and Oris chatting down the hallway a little bit. So yes, you have both of them in one place.
is Edric blushing again?
No.
Okay. So petty. I'm sorry.
For,
Yeah.
for the
so-
record, the impression that Adam got was definitely he was afraid to ask for help, not
Okay.
oh, Oris is so dreamy, right? It was that sort of like none of the other lords are gonna like ask for a knight to fight alongside them.
Sure.
But right, so yeah,
Okay.
it was an embarrassment blush, not a adolescent crush blush.
Robert.
It was the other end of the Adam spectrum, right?
Yeah,
You've got your crush
yeah.
blushes and your nervous blushes. This was a nervous blush.
Okay, that's yeah. Okay, that's fine. Like I know that feeling.
Anything this time, Ash.
No, it was. I saw what you wrote in the chat.
That could be
That's what it
anything.
was. Yeah. So yeah, kind of amble up to them. So Lucaris has some wine and food in his tent and invited us to join him for a drink if either or both of you would like to come along.
Not in the habit of saying no to free wine, and you Nymaryens tend to have good stock. What do you say, lad? And Oris gives Edric a good-natured shove that almost kills him. And Edric kind of looks around and sees that the dashing war council cape of Lord Barrick is currently leaving alongside Reyna. So he goes, "Oh, yes, I have some time. I think. That would some food would be nice."
Yeah, Oris, you like food, don't you?
That much didn't change when I got my spurs. No.
Great. Well, I'm going to head over there right now. But yeah, it would be nice if you could join us.
Oris gives a shrug, like no time like the present to go get some food and wine, and he certainly doesn't seem to mind walking with you lot. Maybe it's just because it makes him feel even taller. Who knows? But yeah, he is certainly amenable with going along.
Plus, the food I rated clearly is Bessa's. I mean, why else would you? Who else's would I get?
Well, she's not here, so it's.
Oh, I thought we brought her up to camp.
Wow.
Oh, that's
I
why
made
we
the
get
same
it.
mistake.
Well, it's not good food, but it's food.
It could be good. It's just not amazing.
Any more conversation on the way over? Finding some pretense to send Ned away or anything? Like we.
But Adam genuinely considers him a friend. I'm not gonna like. Certainly not gonna invite him like to join us for drinks and then tell him to go off.
We'll meet you over there, Ned. Just go. Yeah, it's fine. So, yeah, you are largely going to have to initiate any conversation. You think it's because Ned is probably a little worried about leading knights into battle tomorrow. You think it's because Oris is probably wondering just what food there is. Oris doesn't seem the talking warrior sort, at least where combat is concerned. But neither of them seems to be wanting to open any conversation up right, as you're making your way through the camp. So it's kind of on Adam's shoulders if he wants to walk and talk.
So, seems like we're set in good stead tomorrow.
I'm sorry, your audio cut out just in the
sure.
Seems
Okay,
like tomorrow was all I got.
It seems like we are set in good stead for tomorrow. Everything seems ready.
Ned eagerly bobs his head. Your sister seems to know what she's about, and I mean, Lord Beric and all the other lords and sirs didn't argue. I think they normally argue at those. But yeah, it must be all right.
Yes, it's especially good to see Dornish houses and Stormlands houses working together. It's heartening.
Well, if the Vulture King can have Dornish folk and Stormlanders deserting together for his army, then it's good to know that the king and the princes and your lady sisters can get Stormlanders and Dornishmen fighting together on the right side.
Yeah,
I know Lord Beric was hoping to be in the vanguard, but I think we heard what happened to Sir Edwin's wife.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be very right to argue about it in those circumstances. So
he was very
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, he was very understanding about it. What happened to Sir Edwin's wife was terrible. He has every right to want to avenge her.
And I don't think anybody's gonna feel very good if they argue with that just to be in front tomorrow.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's my first war council, but I think it went really well.
Yes, I think it went well too. And you know what? We'll all get a shot at the enemy. I don't think anyone's going to be left idling. I mean, look at me. Like I'm going to be way up the back, and I like to think that I'll still be able to help.
Oris gives a little chuckle and he goes, "If the fools ride within bowshot, then that's their mistake."
Well, I mean, part of me hopes that they will. Not least of all because Elia's going to be in the next unit over, taunting me for not shooting as many as her.
She's a bit of a spitfire. I think they shouldn't call them spitfires. Out of character, sorry. Like that doesn't make any sense. There's no like engines.
It's like my brain went to the 1920s.
Right.
Firebird.
Cat.
Yeah, well, we could go Shadow Cat. Like they're fierce little. So yeah, Oris will give a little chuckle. She's a Shadow Cat. That one. She wanted to fight me after Obara did.
Goodness. Yes. Well, I'm sure. You know what? She. I believe the descriptor is indomitable. Possibly. She doesn't seem to let anything get in her way, really.
I was waiting for Adam to go like, "Yes, kill her."
There was a little bit of me that almost did it, but no.
Just fucking wreck her, Oris. Wreck her, please. Instead, Edric will nod and go, I'm sorry to hear that she got hurt, but I'm glad we don't have to tell her not to fight.
No, no, it seems her sister gets that honor.
Even the Red Viper said he was scared to tell her not to fight, and I don't think he's scared of anything.
Well, he certainly doesn't give the appearance of being scared of anything. Although perhaps telling her that she can't fight tomorrow reflects something he maybe is a bit afraid of, which is her being hurt worse. We've all got people we care about in this fight.
Ned gives a compassionate and understanding nod. Oris's stomach growls.
You are holding this man up from his food. His food.
We are walking and talking. We're not standing still.
Right, but they are walking at Adam's speed, which his movement rate is a little lower, but they are both doing it, and Oris isn't like even complaining out loud.
Well, I feel so special. Well, I guess kind of hearing that. Look, I'm holding you both up a bit. I mean, feel free to go on ahead. I know I'm not very fast.
Ned looks a little surprised and maybe a little hurt that you would say that. And Oris just picks you up and throws you over his shoulder.
Ah!
Just out of nowhere, just scoop, heave. Goes, well, if I can carry a corpse around half the day, I can carry a living lord for a nice change of pace.
Get 7 hells, Oris. I wish you would warn me before you pick me up.
I bet you might have said no, and then I might have had to pull rank on you, squire. And instead, I'll just get us all there quicker.
You know what? I might just pay Lucera's gold to knight me so you'll stop doing that.
Well, the bad news is, then I'll still just be bigger than you, older than you, and a more experienced knight. Ned darts out a few steps in front. He goes, but I'm a lord. And Oris does not stop and just brushes past him. He goes, but still a squire.
Oh, come now. He outranked both of us put together.
Not if I pretend I don't see him down there.
Well, yes, we
Battery low.
To you.
And we'll say that about by then, the three of you arrive in pretty good spirits. And he will toss you down, not quite like a sack of potatoes. He will be at least as careful with you as he was the corpse. So, you get slung down. And
put me in
for
a chair
a
and put
moment,
my cape over my head.
like every boy dreams of.
Charging
For a
battery.
moment, he's got his hands on your hips as he's letting you down the last little bit. So, good luck sleeping tonight, Adam.
Gosh, you're swell.
Brother, welcome.
Yes. Right now, where's this special, extremely strong wine you told us you had?
And also, did Reyna and Barrick make it there, or were they stopping on the way? Like, what was their like? Are they at the scene now, as people are getting reunited?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, so we've got most of the family there. Let's cut back into Bela in the keep. Was there anyone in particular you were wanting to talk to before heading out to the Nymaryen bonfire party?
No. Well, I was going to approach Balin Swann to see if he would join me at the party.
Yes. He flushes a little bit red as you ask him, and you're not sure if he thinks you're actually asking him to walk with you to your brother's tent or not. Like maybe he's like, yeah, I just saw Lord Barrick leave early. So either way, he certainly seems pleased, and he is not as gallant as Lord Barrick because not many are. It's honestly just kind of him and Sir Garland duking it out for that. With Adam coming up from behind as the dark horse in that race. But he is still a chivalrous knight trained in how to treat a lady, etc., etc. So yeah, he will still offer you his elbow and that sort of thing. Just not quite, perhaps, with the panache of Lord Barrick Dondarrion. And yeah,
That's fine. I don't. I don't need the highbrow, perfect sort of courteousness.
all right then. We can say that basically everybody ends up there within a brief amount of time from one another. Just everybody kind of walking a different route through the camp. Partially because the camp is laid out instinctually instead of terribly neatly. It's not like it's a long-term, military camp in hostile territory of one banner type of thing. So all these, various lords and squires and knights have probably been taking different routes to get everywhere in the camp. Like by default, I head towards the Dayne tent and then take a left, type of thing. So everyone gets there, we'll say, at about the same time. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it to the PCs again. I'm off the hook. NPCs are following PCs' leads once more, except for Oris, who once Adam is down, immediately goes looking for some food.
He does.
But yeah, everyone else, it's kind of up to you to start with conversating or whatever you want to do.
Brother,
Hey, Luke.
I'm glad you could make it.
You said there was wine and food?
I have secured some, yes. A small but quiet raid on the kitchens. Was
You're
it?
lucky. You're lucky Bess is not here. She would have wrapped your knuckle.
Yes, but the food would be a lot better than I would have made away with.
And she probably have made you take more of it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have gotten wrapped in the knuckles for not taking enough food.
As you are watching for like the platter of stuff that you made off with, like as you're watching half of that vanish as soon as Oris is within arm's reach, little Robert Frey actually comes up with an assortment of pages from various knights and squires, and they're actually setting up like a table here. Not a fancy one with a tablecloth and stuff, but they grabbed somebody's like rough camp table from another campfire a few tents down, and various knights and men-at-arms are showing up. It looks like this is growing into the party the night
Excellent.
before. So you've got a little bit bigger crowd and a lot more food and drink. Apparently in some of these supply wagons,
Nice.
there's some Stormlander hard cider that has made its way down here also. So you've got your choice of a couple drinks, and then it's just whatever camp food all these soldiers have. Like everyone's pitching in their good stuff the night before, as why not kind of empty the larder, So there's a pretty good spread as the various siblings are, as Lord Barrick and Lady Reyna are the last to arrive, having taken a particularly circuitous route to extend their evening walk. Yeah, you guys are actually in what's turning into maybe the middle of the camp with a pretty good spread.
So Luke is, for probably one of the first times around the campsite, is out of his armor and just kind of wearing his silk robes and very open and relaxed.
Enjoying being social. Because you're social.
I don't know why I'm just now imagining him in a jacket. but
In a smoking
I know
jacket?
I know that's anachronistic, but it's there with like a brandy snifter.
Yeah, so he's got the version of that. He's got the wine skin, and he's kind of wearing the Dornish robes that are opened up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we can all see your manly chest. We know.
I remember a couple of days ago when you were wearing about as much fording the river and then taking a couple arrows right to the chest.
I will confess, sister, very rarely am I in such a state of just undress, only to have the woman run away from me. Unexplored territory.
That must have been crushing.
You win some, you lose some.
Well, you might get to see her.
Cool.
Well, I mean, you might get to see her again tomorrow.
It's true.
Yeah, possibly.
I have another chance there.
Well, just make sure that you do wear your armor tomorrow, though.
That is the plan.
Yes. No more starting battles half naked.
Yes. I'm swimming across the rivers tomorrow, so.
Well, yes, there is that. The ground is somewhat more advantageous.
From here on out, all battles will involve not swimming across rivers. That's just the rule. Make sure everyone knows it. The 7 approve, I'm sure.
One can hope, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll just have to make sure that we plan our battles better in the future.
Well,
Tomorrow should be good.
I don't think it was a lack of planning. I think they've just got a little bit unlucky and things escalated from there.
Yeah.
The plan was sound, it just didn't survive first contact with the enemy.
Yes. That's good. That should be a saying. Have a maester write that down.
Maybe
That's not a maester here.
You can write down, don't be naked when battle starts, or whatever version you have.
Sir Garrus Drinkwater saunters up with a wineskin in one hand and a turkey leg in the other.
Ah, Sir Garrus.
I could go fetch that maester fellow from the Solar. I imagine he's still there scribbling.
That's quite all right.
Yeah, let's call him over too.
Well, you know what? I suppose he might like to have some wine and food himself. You shouldn't stay.
He's kind of our field maester.
Yes, well, one shouldn't stay chained to a desk all the time.
It's never a bad idea to have a maester around when everybody's drinking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't plan on being hungover at the battle.
But as you yourself said, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. I hand him a wine.
That is true. That is very true. And I shall
I'm
drink
thinking there
from
were
said.
many battles.
I will drink
that were
deeply from
fun.
said wineskin.
A couple other NPCs will show up in the next several minutes then. A few of them fetched by little Robert Frey, who is as ever eager to please and goes darting off, including Maester Ferris, that will come back with Lady Alisane, this time in O, and Obara Sand.
So how did it go?
Sorry, out of character, who was this to?
To Obara.
She's fine. We told her the archers needed her help, and that she would officially count as the cavalry reserve.
I'm sure that assuaged her somewhat.
She's not as dumb as she pretends to be, but she still wanted a more active role, but she understands.
She's very brave.
It's in her blood.
Yes, she. I mean, I don't think I would have gotten as good a hit on the escapee if it had not been for her interfering with his riding.
Oh, think nothing. She's been explaining it to everyone within earshot.
Of course she has. And I suppose her version is that she was single-handedly responsible for taking him down?
I believe her exact phrase was that she won the race, you just happened to have a bow handy.
Ah!
And will Lady Lance be joining us this evening, or is she resting?
Father is tending to her. Has an excuse for both of them, I think.
Good.
But also, before this trip, he had not seen her in some time, so best they get to catch up.
Luke nods. And kind of quietly to Adam. Adam, are you still thinking about perhaps having an attorney for your name day?
Oh yes, definitely.
And if he
Like
is
that.
not, I am.
Let us make sure we extend our, this is less quiet, invitation to the girls.
I suppose that could be arranged.
Attorney with extra girls, you say? Comes Lord Beric Dondarrion with a drink in each hand, presumably one for Reyna, but who knows?
Well, it wouldn't be a proper Dornish tourney without them.
You're gonna come to like our ways, I think.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where the line between flirty and chivalrous is, because it's not a line I have to worry about in real life. So he will respond instead, handing Reyna a drink, but holding on to it a heartbeat too long so that her fingers stay on his. And then, with his eyes on Lucaris, he will say, "Yes, I've already grown rather fond of the place."
Oh.
Luke gives him a grin. What about
I
those?
smirk.
Oh yeah, and also Reyna,
My sister grin.
Reyna, it was those fingers.
Yeah, of course it was.
Mm.
Those fingers. I hate you.
I know.
I feel like I'm too young for this. I think this is wrong.
Nah.
I'm fine.
So,
Alright.
Bela,
Mm.
will you actually be using that spear tomorrow?
Well, definitely have it with me, and if any of those bandits are stupid enough to get close enough to me, I'll definitely be using it.
If that's stupid, they deserve what you give them, yes.
Yes. I'm afraid for the majority of the battle, I'll just be directing people and responding to their moves and the best way to win the battle. So if all goes well, I won't need to use my spear.
Well, it may be the wine, but I confess a deep jealousy over that weapon.
Well, who could blame you? It is a very amazing weapon. And then she like takes it and kind of like holds it up to like look at it in like the candle flames. So it's kind of like the flames dancing around the blade.
Also, did I ever mention what a cunt you are?
Wow.
Damn.
She just like smirks at him.
He also laughs and grins.
The good news is I just clarified in chat that Sir Balin Swann is out of earshot right now because Lord Beric went and excitedly told him about attorney, and then Sir Balin left to go tell other knights. So yes, luckily
He just didn't fight me.
was not standing right there when that happened.
I didn't see that. That's funny as shit.
So,
I
yeah.
challenge you right now.
Bela smirks, and then she like does a small flourish, and it points the dull haft of the spear towards your gut, playfully indicating that she could have stabbed you.
Could
What?
Why do I always end up with a blade to my unarmored stomach?
What is it with like people with Valyrian steel weapons that are just sort of so in love with them. I mean, wait, yours doesn't talk to you or anything, does it?
No.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
That would be weird, right?
It's
Yeah.
it stings, stupid.
Yeah, it would be really weird.
Does that bow talk to you?
No,
Of course, it's not very
I
steel.
mean,
So.
it also it's not Valyrian steel, but I would be quite worried if the ghosts of some dead dragon talked to me through the portal.
If that's all it did, I would be less worried.
If
No,
that starts
it-
happening, tell me immediately.
No, if Heartpiercer has a voice, it has neglected to show it to me.
Sadly, I did not bring my weapon out here for the festival, so you have defeated me, Balin. I hope you'll alert me back to my family for a fair amount.
Only Bela could bring a spear to a drinking contest.
Yes, the fair amount in this case is 1 drink, good brother.
All right, hold on. Here you go.
Down one, down one, down one.
Just one. We are trying to avoid having hangovers tomorrow.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I think,
maybe.
yeah, I think like Adam's looking to like just get like pleasantly squiffy, and not like full on sloppy drunk. Because I mean, he knows what happens when he does that. Sorry, Felicia.
I'm still fascinated by this word.
What's squiffy?
Yeah.
It's just like mildly, like it's not like full on drunk. It's just a little bit sort of tipsy.
Tipsy.
Like you're just starting to kind of get the kind of that nice kind of feel in your head, like that sort of like
Right, buzzed. Buzzed.
that kind of 2.5 drinks in kind of thing.
2.5
Yeah.
drinks. I don't drink, so when I do, it doesn't take much. So 2.5 drinks is past squiffy.
Oh, all right, okay. You have to kind of adjust for your tolerance, I guess.
Yeah,
But no, squiffy is a great word.
that is a great word. For the record, though, when I'm squiffy, I'm like super affectionate. What about Adam?
Yeah, I think he's probably like.
I had
that
another one skin.
probably goes through several stages depending on how drunk he gets. Like he'll start like friendly and cheerful, and then like maybe get towards the kind of touchy-feely, slightly inappropriate, and then maybe like get towards the very latter end, start getting into the melancholy stage.
So Adam getting drunk is like denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Like we're just
Yeah, pretty much. Acceptance being falling asleep, maybe.
Alright, there you go. That's nice.
Either
But
that
you're
or
not gonna go. You're
either that or getting deeply philosophical with it.
Bailey, your escort seems to have vanished.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back before long.
me
Yeah,
too.
this gathering has turned out a lot bigger than it was than expected. I thought this was gonna be a quiet one. Your tent seems to have spread.
I never
Wait.
said quiet.
You're clearly the epicenter of the party, Lucaris.
Yes, I've a lot of practice.
so NPCs are all available within easy earshot. They're just also kind of milling around doing NPC stuff. You definitely get idea that right now most of them are talking about an upcoming tourney in Nymaryen lands.
I think we might have gotten them excited talking about that.
This is what happens when you start drinking.
That was rather the point. If everyone is excited and wants to come and the word spreads, then grandfather has no reason to argue.
Have you not by him yet?
Oh yeah, it's better to beg forgiveness than ask permission. maybe.
And now I'm an accomplice. I see.
You're always. If you're not an accomplice, then I don't know what the word is. For
Well,
the
I mean,
suspect.
I don't think it will surprise him that I want to do that, given that it's an important name day, more important than previous ones. I mean,
It is
I'm pretty sure you only come of age once.
Yes.
Gods, I hope so.
So yes, I haven't really thought about very specific details, but I definitely want to
I have.
have it be special and invite all our friends and yeah.
Well, definitely invite the girls, like I said.
What, sorry?
Definitely make sure you invite the girls, like I said.
The cousins?
Oh yes.
Mhm.
I suppose. So I'm not. I can't say I'm pleased with how Elia is telling the story of that chase.
I'll be honest, brother. I think Elia is just amusing as hell.
Oh, I'm sure you do because you're not the one she makes fun of.
Well, I also just armed her in a duel, so maybe we should do that.
Oh yes, because I can absolutely do that.
Huh? Maybe.
Mm.
Right now.
You're Adam the Archer.
I mean, come on. Yes,
I
but you
took
don't
a
really.
blow from Robert's hammer, our king's hammer, in the chest. I flew
Yes.
through the air.
Yes, but
I
you're.
got up. Anything can happen.
I
did not
suppose-
die.
It's true.
But right, I might be a very good archer, but you'd very rarely see archery duels. And two, you are all fully able-bodied, trained warriors, whereas I'm a cripple. So I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm terrible. I mean, I've sparred a bit, and it's fine, but I really don't think I'm going to be a match for her in a fair fight.
Well,
Well,
that's what the
don't
joust
do a
is
fair
for,
fight.
brother.
What the what?
The joust.
Oh, so I also don't think I would beat her in a joust either, given that she's kind of known for being very good on a horse, and I'm just getting used to horses again.
You hear a grunt from behind. He goes, and it's Oris looming from the darkness with
Holding your sandwich, baby?
Like,
a-
how long
like
have you been there?
a lamb's leg instead of a turkey leg. Just gnawing on some piece of meat. He goes, fire on foot and hit her in the left arm.
Oh, now that would be very ungallant of me.
But you're not a knight.
But
I'm just
still,
saying.
And neither is she.
I'm just saying, if you want to beat her, that's the way to do it. She's better in the saddle.
I'm not really looking to fight her right now.
I kind of want to.
All right.
Alright.
Then Oris goes, so what's this about a tourney?
Oh well, I was
Seven
hoping.
hells. We can't make him fight in this squire's joust this time, can we?
Well, no, because
You
he's a
see
knight.
you see his teeth flash through his increasingly. He hasn't been shaving this week. Like you feel like him going like I'm in a war camp is like an excuse to
Oh,
not stay
rugged.
clean shaven. So he's getting pretty fucking scruffy pretty quick, and his teeth flash against that black bristle. And he goes, "You can't."
Luke grins to this and gives him kind of a forearm clasp and shakes his arm.
Well, I'm planning on having tourney for my 6th and 10th name day. I mean, providing I'm still alive.
We can have one in your memory if you're dead.
It's true.
We'll still have it.
And I'm sure you would make it quite the fitting memorial, brother.
Would his bow be up for grabs then?
One hopes, although I'm no good with it. Adam, if we had
No.
your funeral, I would burn half these kingdoms down in revenge. Just so you know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
We help. We
I mean-
help.
I mean, I go for the easy half, but still.
I mean, I hope
What
I
is
hope
it?
it will come to that. I'd kind of like to not die young if at all possible.
You'll be fine. You're back with the archers. Nothing will get to you. You've got 300 men-at-arms between you and all this trouble. Plus a lot of us running around on horseback.
If
Well, it's one of the advantages of being an archer is you can hit an enemy quite a long time before they get to you.
the guerrillas cannot hold men on.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Did we lose Robert, or did
Yeah.
I lose everyone?
no, we lost Robert.
Yeah,
That's
Robert
right.
kind of
Alright.
went all crazy there.
To circle back to the tourney format.
Will be
Oh, there we go. No,
Hmm.
maybe he's back. Yeah, we lost you for just about all of that, Robert.
okay. Yeah, I was just commenting on it. I must have lost Aaron for a second.
It's fine.
Basically, if we have our archers falling back, we're already in pretty bad shape, is what I was saying.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
And I
Uh,
intend to try and make sure that that even if things do get fraught, that they won't flee. I'm thinking about saying something to them to try and inspire them.
You could tell him Lady Lance will run him down.
I mean, I would like to inspire them in my own right, rather than threatening them with my cousin. But that's you know what, I'll keep that in reserve. Thank you for the suggestion.
So, back to this tourney. You won't be a knight until your name day, and your name day probably won't be till the end of the tourney, aye? So you might be needing a champion to stand in your stead for House Nymaryen.
Maybe.
And out of character that is a common tourney format instead of brackets. It's often something where a handful of champions, generally the hosts, are like, hey, you've got to beat me. And then whoever the champions are at the end of the week will duke it out for number one type of thing. So
Yeah.
that is a way to put the PCs front and center also. If you guys
Yeah.
start the week as champions, it's a way to do that. But yeah,
Cool.
looks like Oris might be angling for that spot.
So, Oris, are you saying you would like to be my champion?
You got someone better lined up that'll work for cheaper?
Well, no, because because today's the first day I've been talking about it. But you know what? That would be nice. I'd like that.
Also gives an excuse to keep Woolly Will off the roads for a bit if we're gonna hang around till the tourney. So yeah,
True.
might give that leg of his more time to heal up.
So don't think for a second that anyone is going to be competing on my behalf in the archery.
Not even your aunt?
Oh no, you're gonna be competing.
I rather
Oh,
thought some friendly familial competition would be good.
Do you remember training with her like at all?
Of course I do.
She must have been much kinder to you.
I do.
Well, possibly because I was very good at it. She maybe didn't have to tell me off as much. Also, I wasn't distracted all the time like Luke was.
Passed.
Did you just say pass?
Yeah, I'm passed in this conversation. We all have a pass. Please, without beginning this adventure.
But mean, I kept it up at White Harbour as well, but what Aunt Elia taught me when I was younger, it stuck. So I think she was able to bring out my natural aptitude.
Yes.
That was a very odd yes.
Pass.
It's not like it's
Down a wineskin.
Yes, he's being very cagey about it now, but
What?
all right, fine then. Look, I didn't think it was that much of a secret.
No, I
There's
have a
secrets
secret
here
too.
that I don't know.
Oh no, look, I was just referring to how Luke was
I'm
rather
terrible at archery.
rather candidly spoke a while back about being too distracted by other things when we were learning archery.
I was 13.
Yeah, you just discovered girls.
Something like that.
After a few more moments of banter about archery, your aunt, and girls, you notice that the looming shadow of Sir Oris the Aurochs has been replaced with the looming shadow of Sir Balin Swann, who's over on kind of the other side of your little circle.
Anyways, like I was saying, Bela.
And he leans in towards Bela, not an inappropriate amount. He goes, "What's this? What's this about a tourney with young Adam's hand for marriage as the prize?"
Oh, is that what people were saying about it?
That's maybe what I heard.
Oh,
I've got my niece Carolyn. She's with House Smallwood now, but she's a pretty lass and a fine dancer.
Oh my god.
Mother have mercy.
you know, we haven't talked about what the prize may be. I'm sure we can bring this up with grandfather, and
Oh, I'm sure we could.
that fucking barrack.
Well, yes, I certainly don't intend to spoil my name day tourney with marriage stuff.
I suspect somebody's played a trick on you, Sir Balin Swann.
No, yes, absolutely no offense intended, but I have no intention to get married just yet.
It's just he said you lot did stuff differently in Dorne, and that instead of marrying off a girl, you just married off the youngest every time. Is that not it?
No, I think someone might have been pulling your leg somewhat.
Fucking.
Would you like me to punish him?
His gaze flickers over to Bela, and he flushes beet red. And you can tell he's trying to think of a quip. Like he really wants to like Sir Garland this or Lord Merrick this. And instead he
It's not Balin, though.
just kind of stammers. He goes, "No, I'll get him back myself. I just
I do recommend that. He has earned whatever you decide to do.
Did he even win Edric at dice?
I'm not even sure Edric plays dice.
Well, it wouldn't be Edric. It would be like his dad.
Well, he just fucking barrack, and he just wanders off away from you.
Well, we now know Barrack is half mummer.
He clearly enjoys a jolly G.
yeah.
I feel so
funny.
bad for Sir Balin now. I feel like I might have offended and insulted his poor cousin.
Well, yeah, but aside from that, maybe you can't put up with this. I mean, come on.
I
what do you
look
mean?
forward to most of that.
What do you mean? Put up with this? You mean the way we are?
Being hassled.
Oh, I see.
Yes, if he can't stand or recognize a few japes, he will be ill-suited to take the hand of a sister.
I think he recognised that he's just a bit. Well, he doesn't know us quite so well. I'm
Oh,
sure he'll.
And they tell all kinds of stories about the Dornish up north.
for what it's
They
worth,
really
I
do.
think he'll adapt quite well, but nonetheless.
You should hear some of the things some of the ridiculous things they say about us in the north.
Oh yeah, it's true.
They said.
I mean, at least in the Stormlands and the Reach, they've seen the occasional Dornish person.
Well, I have to say, I never bought the story that Northerners are birthed from snowmen.
I mean, I was never present for any births, but I don't recall anything like that actually
I
happening.
mean, some are born in the summer, right? So
Yeah.
that can't be true.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Either that, or they're born up in the mountains where there's snow all the time.
Unless none of them are born in the summer.
I mean, I think they are.
No.
Hmm.
Is it? Unfortunately, we don't have any Northerners here to ask.
And
Sure we
as
do.
if on cue, Alysanne Mormont is suddenly the looming shadow behind young Adam. He goes, "Snowman, fuck, we fuck bears."
That's what I heard too.
Well,
There are stories.
Don't we fight them?
At least that's how we do it on Bear Island. That's why we call it that.
We don't have any bears here. You'll have to make do with other things.
Oh, I am. She gives you a elbow.
well, I mean, the king did call us dragon fuckers multiple times.
We've taken her to a candy store, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, she has been sampling the goods.
That's right. She has.
Good for her.
Well, not that anyone but Bela knows about that, but
I always heard you lot liked goats more than ladies, but so far I've been getting by all right.
I would say goats are a distant 7th or 8th for me.
wow,
don't-
that's that high.
I don't.
But
I don't.
I spent a lot of my years in King's Landing, so
Like, I thought the goats only like to
Oh,
She makes her way around the kind of circle of you, and is next to Bela, which is a pretty stark contrast. Her standing over there like between the twins, and she leans Bela's way and she goes, "What's this I hear about a tourney with your fancy pig sticker up for grabs?"
Well, who? That is definitely not happening. No one will be winning this pig sticker, as you call
Well, I
it.
mean, I'm sure you'll make us fight for it, but I mean, hell, a thing that sharp, even I'll get back in the saddle.
No. There
No.
will. This is not up for the victor of any tournament.
Oh.
Lord Baron
Have you
has
been- Have you been
has
talking to
been-
Lord Beric?
No, well, who'd I hear it from? Anyway, it's just Longclaw went off to the wall with Uncle Jayor, and I thought maybe if I could bring some Valyrian steel back from this old, ride about, then maybe. Anyway, it's fine. I'll find another one.
Yeah,
No, the
I'm sure you
details
will.
The details haven't been finalised, but I mean, there will be prizes, and they will be good ones. They just won't be my sister's spear
yeah,
or
hand.
my hand in case Lord Beric tries that one on you.
It wasn't your hand that he promised me, but not to worry. You're too young for me, lad. I'd break ya.
What a
So,
way to go.
so
This is why we don't fuck bears here.
Oh, I love her, and I want to keep her
I've-
forever.
I've never felt so small and fragile and vulnerable.
But I suppose if neither of the Nymaryen lances are up for grabs, she almost breaks Reyna's ribs with that.
It does.
If none of the Nymaryen lances are up for grabs, it'll just be the melee for me on my own 2 feet, like I'm supposed to stand.
Well, I've seen you fight in the melee, and you are formidable, so I certainly would have trouble betting against you.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
I will not
As
bet
long as it
against
wasn't
you,
a
Lady Mormont, but I will stand against you if needed. Let's have some fun.
Briefly, there's no meat on them bones, lad. Ah. Anyways, I'm off to tap down a couple lies and scurry that's rumors then. And also find some more wine. And she turns and trundles off.
Well, Adam, you have yourself a hell of a tournament planned.
You
Oh.
must.
I mean, I hadn't even started planning, and apparently a lot of the planning has been done for me.
Sounds like it, yeah. You have to
Yeah.
give up you, Sunfire, who knows what else.
These
What
are
a
some
cat
really
you have
lofty.
the other night.
Those are some lofty prizes to be won. We're gonna have to come up with something good.
Mm. Yes, I'll have to think of something good because, well, yeah, it seems to have been rather built up now. I shall have to have words with Lord Beric about this. I'm sure he will have some thoughts.
He has lots of thoughts. I don't know.
There is a flash of sandy golden hair in the firelight, and Sir Garrus Drinkwater ambles up again, looking to Lucaris, just glances around the body and leans into Luke. Is it true? All the Dannet lands up for grabs?
Unfortunately, Sir Drinkwater,
No. We
The
just
ship-
got those
yeah.
back.
Right, that tears it. I am gonna have to go and talk to Lord Beric right now. So yeah, like Adam's gonna
Do it where I can see you.
he's going to excuse himself and go off to have a word.
These rumors are unfounded, and the Dannet lands are in desperate need of some aid before they are a prize for anybody at this point, to be honest.
He looks a little crestfallen. He goes, it's just as good. I mean, I'm not sure I'm ready to marry and settle down, and I heard that Iris is much of a looker. But, well, we'll see.
She is a pretty gal, but she's been through a lot. So it may be some time before she's ready to trust anybody, to be honest.
Right. But I'd heard it was your grandfather's decision, not hers. But I mean, it's like
yes,
the
of
lands are. But there is still a tourney, right? Yes.
It seems there is now. I doubt we can say no at this point.
See,
Good.
this worked perfectly.
So do I. And he gives you a jaunty toast, and then he saunters off again.
Luke just finishes off his wineskin.
You find Lord Beric Dondarrion talking excitedly to Damon Sand.
And I hear the prizes that you'll be a true-born heir to.
Lord Beric,
Young Adam the Archer. What can I do for you this
I was
evening,
like,
lad?
Don't you Adam the Archer me. I thank you for drumming up interest in my upcoming name day tourney, though perhaps planning all the prizes yourself was a little of an overreach.
Who found you first?
Well, first, it was my hand in marriage that was up for grabs. Then my sister's spear, and then the Janet lands. So you have had, so I'm going to say now that you have had your fun. Let's not build on it any further, because I don't think I could really live up to all the pressure.
You're right. You're right. Of course, the true prize will be a chance to be hosted in Wyvern's Rest and spend at least a few evenings with your lovely sisters.
Oh. Well, now, how can I argue with such a disarming compliment?
Aha, exactly as I planned it. Very well, Damon, you've caught on. It was a bit of a... Damon? He's already wandered off. Like, he just slipped off as soon as he had the chance. But yes, Lord Barrick seems to be in good spirits, despite his japing being nipped in the bud.
Well, I mean, I was trying to do it, like, gently, and that, like, yes, this is amusing. Let's not let it get further out of hand. Kind of, Adam's sort of expressing a boundary as politely as possible.
And you do notice he is deeper in his cups than you've seen him prior. And you also may recall, you don't remember ever hearing of Lord Barrick fighting in a battle yet either. Just that might jump out at you when you think of how drunk he is. You might go, hey, wait. So yeah, there's that.
I just for comparison, he's also heavily drinking, Adam.
So when I need to, I have a few other people I need to speak to, but take it easy tonight, Lord Barrick. We don't want to be fighting with hangovers in the morning, do we?
Oh, quite right. Just, it's terribly important that a soldier stays hydrated in the field. I think that was Maester Ferris that said that. But, of course, moderation. Ned, come finish this one for me.
Wow.
With that, out of character, we are hitting 6 o'clock. Did everybody hit most of the buttons that they were out to hit?
Unless anybody has any questions for Luke, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of, like, the only kind of outstanding thing Adam has is to, like, talk to Elia, but I mean, that can literally wait until after the battle. It's not that important.
Felicia, good? Because I got nods from everyone else. All right, then. Before we take off, though, I do want Felicia to show off her necklace. So take that off, or whatever you got to do to show it off without getting us banned from Twitch. But we got her a really cool House Nymaryen necklace made by a friend of mine. She runs a small business called Lollipops and Monsters. So look her up if you're looking for some custom-made jewelry. I thought that would be a neat little congratulatory present for Felicia settling in at her new job as a director of nursing and getting more and more Nymaryen every day. But it's Nymaryen swag, so we got to show it off. So we got that, and we will be back here in 2 weeks for the Battle of the Vulture King. We'll see what kind of name we come up with that's depending on how things go. But we are going to be flexing this system and using their mass combat rules for the first time. And we hope that we will see you all back here in a couple of weeks for nominally the ginormous payoff of the last what has it been, 7 or 8 sessions now?
Seems
It,
better than the first arc, but yeah.
yes, definitely shorter than the first one. But we are really burning our way through my prelude, and soon the campaign will
Soon,
start.
Chapter 1 will start.
So,
You
Yeah.
said the first arc was the preludes. Is this more prologue?
yeah, now it's tutorial. It was working our way through the prelude stuff. Soon the credits will roll and the game will start. But yeah, we're hoping to see everybody back here in a couple of weeks for this first foray into mass combat. And remember that House Nymaryen has been stacking the deck in a couple of pretty cool ways. And we'll see how those pay off in a couple weeks. So hopefully we'll see you all back here in a few weeks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out today, and we'll see you next Sea of Spears Sunday, 2 weeks from now.
Bye.